language in newly flagged tweets, they will need to click on a screen that says the Twitter rules about abusive behavior apply to this tweet. However, Twitter has determined that it may be in the public's interest for the tweet to remain available. The Mind Unleashed reports Twitter will deprioritize the labeled tweets so they would be seen by fewer people, which adds that the policy will go into effect immediately and will not apply to other influencers and leaders. It's also not retroactive. A Brazilian Air Force pilot, who was one of the crew members on their way to serve as the advance guard for Brazil President Bolsonaro during the forthcoming G20 summit in Osaka, was arrested during a stopover in Seville en route to Japan, after Spanish customs officers discovered enough cocaine on him to fuel a small Wall Street bank's party for a month, in what has become an international embarrassment for Bolsonaro, who is known as Brazil's Trump and also the country's self-professed law and order president. The Mind Unleashed reports the 38-year-old airman appeared in court Wednesday on charges of drug trafficking after Spanish officials discovered 37 packets of cocaine weighing a total of 39 kilos in baggage. Officers from Spain's Guardia Civil took the crew member into custody, and a police spokesman in Seville said the whole bag was filled with drugs. Support for the Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? You can. Just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details. This is the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
Shortly after beginning his first date with area woman Pauline Geary, smitten local man Brad Holtman told Onion reporters he couldn't believe that the woman was also a fan of the 1960s British rock band, the Beatles.
We were just talking about music, and she mentioned that she liked the Beatles, which is crazy because I love the Beatles, actually. Yeah, funny thing is, I was not really even looking forward to the date. I figured we'd get a drink or whatever, but it's turning out a lot cooler than I thought it was going to. I mean, she's just such a huge fan. She knows all the Beatles names. She even owns some of their albums. I've been a Beatles fan since like 6th or 7th grade, so I don't want to get too excited and jump into something. So I think I'm going to ask her if she's ever seen The Godfather, which is probably my top 5 movies of all time.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It is Free Talk Live. You can join us here. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We have the Discord on-air call-in line rooms over at discord.lrn.fm. Joining you in the studio tonight, it's Ian,
Richie Rich,
and Mark.
All right, so I was up last night doing a little bit of streaming, doing some testing and some tweaking. Now that we are what they call a verified partner on DLive, I have made the switch to where our video streams, which have been on DLive and Twitch, and we're also on YouTube, but it had been that Twitch was the highest resolution and then DLive and then YouTube. Now I've switched it to where DLive is in 720 resolution, and so it's the highest resolution, and Twitch is now 480, so it is standard resolution because they gave us a partner status, and, you know, that's pretty cool, I guess. So I was up doing a little bit of game streaming last night, and in the middle of it, my roommate Matt comes in, and he says that Trump is on the DMZ, and Kim Jong-un did come to meet him. Last night on this program, we were talking about Trump's invitation, sort of this seemingly, or at least so he claimed, spur of the moment invite where he sent a message. Actually, he tweeted that he would like to meet Kim Jong-un at the DMZ between North and South Korea, and that he would like to shake his hand. And that's all. Just, that was what the invitation was. Just come on out, shake my hand.
The handshake heard round the world.
I think it's great. I mean, I like it.
And it happened. And I was optimistic about it last night just because the things that have been happening between these two people have been pretty interesting, from a world peace perspective, if nothing else.
I think it's interesting that the people that hate Trump the most would like to see this sort of thing happen the most, and that the people that
But they don't want to see Trump do it.
Yeah.
Well, right, that's the thing, is that you can really see how the personality politics gets involved here. If you would like to have seen Barack Obama shake Kim Jong-un's hand at the DMZ, but you're mad at Trump and you're like, oh, poo-shaw that he got this done, you're a partisan a-hole.
Right.
This is the definition of what a partisan a-hole would do.
For sure.
Trump has a hidden agenda, that's why. Right?
What do you think that is?
Oh, obviously the photo op, right? It's
all
not
it's a picture,
right? That's all he asked for. He asked for a photo op to shake his hand. He didn't say we're going to negotiate. We're going to discuss policy.
They didn't have time for that, really.
No, they did. They sat down for an hour.
Okay, great.
But that's not the lead, right? That's the lead is I've invited him to shake my hand in the DMZ.
Yeah, that's what it had. That's what it took.
Okay,
right? Like, I think it's interesting because you've got this guy, Kim Jong-un, who. He's the supreme leader or whatever it is they call him over there. He's the dictator, basically, of North Korea. This person is not doing nice things generally. They're running prison camps. In fact, I've got an article about their prison camps as well, because it's important to remind ourselves we are talking about two men who are running criminal, violent organizations known as governments. So I think it's important to keep our libertarian perspectives on this, but at the same time, acknowledge that what Donald Trump has accomplished here by simply being friendly, by treating Kim Jong-un not as a monster but as another human being, that he's made progress that no one else has made when it comes to this sort of hermit kingdom of North Korea that has been cut off from basically interaction with most of the world. There's sanctions on their country. Even if there weren't sanctions, they'd still be desperately poor. They begged for food from other nations for decades. They went through starvation. I mean, this has been amazing to actually watch this happen. And I gotta say, I felt somewhat emotional last night watching this video. And it's also somewhat conflicted. I made this comment on the live stream because we were watching it on our Twitch and DLive live stream. So if you go back and you look at the archives, you can watch us kind of react to it as it was happening at like 3 in the morning Eastern time. So it was like in the afternoon over there. And just, feeling like conflicted, because as a liberty-minded person, I don't like any presidents, right? Like right. I don't want to have a state. I don't want to have a coercive government in my life or in anybody else's life.
But I hope I judge everybody's action individually.
Yeah.
And so, like, what do I think about Trump's life? I'm not Jesus. I don't have to judge him. Mm-hmm. But when when he does something good, I want to say he does something good. And I want to make sure that I say he does something good because, we spend a lot of time here tearing politicians, specifically presidents, apart.
Sure.
Okay, so from a liberty-minded perspective then, how did this handshake give us more freedom?
It doesn't give you more freedom.
Okay.
It doesn't give you more freedom, but the fact that you're not being that you or your child isn't going to be drafted into some military campaign that is yet another pointless waste of American lives. That's a positive, right? Okay. Like,
I don't look at it. I mean, you're not wrong about that, but I just kind of look at it from a global peace perspective of if this can actually help mend whatever wounds there are between North and South Korea, if they can actually end the Korean War, which is still technically going on.
Well, that's why there's a demilitarized zone right down the middle.
And that last year when the talks started between Trump and the South Korean president and Kim Jong-un, they sort of came to an agreement to end the Korean War. Now, it's not something that they're going to end overnight. It's been more than a year since their initial talks had happened, so we don't know how long this whole process is going to take. But some symbolic steps have been taken, and it's hard for me to look at that and not completely acknowledge that yes, this is a symbolic meeting. It's a symbolic gesture but one that seems to have some weight to it and one that seems to matter.
And further, as a person who advocates for sort of a porous borders for countries, I want people from North Korea to be able to travel to South Korea
and vice versa
to live better lives or whatever.
And outside of Korea, because I'm sure not being trapped there is a bonus as well.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be nice if they could travel to China, too. One of the biggest problems with China, of course, is, beyond the fact that they're communists and terrible for a lot of reasons, is that they will return a North Korean escapee to North Korea. They are not helping people get out of that hellhole.
No.
They are actually damning them to prison camp labor, impossible death, and the deaths of their families and or prison camp labor for their families. Because if you escape from North Korea, they will punish your family members.
Yeah.
They'll go and, kidnap your aunt and throw, somebody who probably had nothing to do with anything.
Yeah.
But that's how they keep people afraid. That's how they keep people in place. They know they could probably get out if they put the effort into it. But if they do get out and they don't get out with their whole family intact, then their family may end up going to, some sort of death camp. And so there's more about, we can talk about the Korean prison camps and all that, because, again, it is important to keep perspective on all of this. However, kudos to Donald Trump for extending this invitation. And,
it's a big risk.
No, what was the risk? That Kim Jong-un wouldn't show up?
Right,
and it would
if Kim
just
Jong-un
look
doesn't show up, then the international press is just stamping their feet back and forth like a little kid who has to use the bathroom, like just waiting for the opportunity to go, you invited him and he didn't come because you're stupid, right?
Well, I don't think Trump cares about that stuff.
Well, he does, because
Yes, he does.
part of the conversation they had that they caught, on camera, was him thanking Kim Jong-un for showing up, specifically because if he didn't show up, he would have been lambasted in the U.S. press.
Trump doesn't care about being lambasted in the press. He's been lambasted the entire time since before he became president. That's not what motivates Donald Trump. He's not afraid of a bunch of negative press.
Well, then what would spur that comment then?
I think that he's grateful because he did get some positive press out of it. I mean, Trump wants positive press for sure, but I don't think he cares if people talk crap about him.
I think
you don't get to be Donald Trump and be concerned with what a YouTube commenter says or what some CNN talking head says about you.
Well, I think that Trump probably either does realize or would realize it relatively quickly that there's not really much upside for him making peace with North Korea.
Right, that's true. And this is one of the other things I pointed out last night while this was going on was Trump didn't have to do any of this. He didn't have to go and meet with Kim Jong-un. He didn't have to extend any kind of invitation to have a conversation with him at any point. There's no benefit to Trump for doing this beyond this benefit
Ego.
of being able to say he did it. More coming up.
And not to mention the shedding, I would vacuum the carpet 3 times a week. Frodo was scratching all night long, bouncing on the side of the bed, keeping me awake the whole entire night from all the scratching and chewing. It kind of makes you neurotic.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy?
Mounds and mounds of fur all over the place.
Come to Dinovite for help.
DINOVITE.com.
If you want the dog to be healthy, you got to feed it something healthy.
Dinovite is nutrition.
The omega-3 fatty acids.
Flaxseed, zinc, alfalfa.
Our vitamins and enzymes replace the nutrients cooked out of most commercial dog foods.
He gobbles it up. He's not up all night scratching. His shedding is minimal, and it is such a pleasure to have my calm, relaxed, non-shedding puppy back. And I have to thank Dinovite for that.
Don't let your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy.
Come to Dinovite for help.
859-428-1000.
859-428-1000.
DINOVITE.com.
Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. Local.bitcoin.com.
I can definitely say that I have found the best cryptocurrency wallet. Certainly the best named one. I'm Mark Edge, and I love the Edge wallet. I've been using it for the last few months. You can buy, sell, trade, and hold your cryptocurrency securely. I trust my holdings of all the major cryptocurrencies to Edge Wallet, and you should too. No long phrases to memorize, just a username and password. Secure your freedom with Edge Wallet. Get it now on Apple or Android in the App Store or at edge.app.
On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com. Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get one free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
Is oral health important to you? If you don't like your own teeth, fresh breath, or kissing people, then by all means stop listening. Several years ago, I met Jessica Armand, founder and CEO of My Magic Mud, and I became passionate about the product that she created and never want to live without it. It's clinically proven to whiten teeth, but I find it does much more. They want you to love My Magic Mud as much as I do, so they're giving you a money-back guarantee plus 20% off. Go to mymagicmud.com and use coupon code FTL20 at checkout. mymagicmud.com, FTL20.
Do you love Twitter? Make sure you favorite the LRN.FM Twitter account so you can receive our tweets at twitter.lrn.fm. That's twitter.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. You can bring up anything that you want. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. We have the Discord on-air call-in line rooms over at discord.lrn.fm. Hop into one of those. You'll sound almost like you're sitting here in the studio with us. It's Ian,
Richie Rich,
and Mark.
And for a long time, libertarians and liberty-minded folks have really wanted a great business directory, and they finally have it in the form of liberty.menu. You can go if you are an individual who rejects the initiation of force and agrees to abide by the ethics of the non-aggression principle. So therefore, Donald Trump and Kim Jong-un do not count. They are not allowed to use liberty.menu. But if you do adhere to the non-aggression principle as much as possible, then you should be over at liberty.menu. List your business, list your events that you're involved in, maybe digital content that you are the creator of. You can do all of those things, and there's a bit of a social networking aspect that allows you to connect and share with others on the site. And of course, you can rate and review the entries that are there over at liberty.menu. It's free to use this site, so there's no, if you want to pay, you can. There's upgrades available for your listings, but just to get listings on the site, totally free. Liberty.menu, use code FTL. You'll get a Free Talk Live listener badge. It wasn't even yesterday. It was actually 14 hours ago, in the middle of the night Eastern time, in the afternoon, in North and South Korea. Donald Trump showed up for a meeting that may never have occurred, but it actually did occur, and I think it shows that there's progress being made between Kim Jong-un and Donald Trump, despite the stalled process that happened in February of this year. As you may recall, there was a meeting that happened in Vietnam between these two. It was their second meeting.
Didn't he
summit.
Un execute somebody over that?
That was the claim, but then that person showed up alive, or at least one of those people that was claimed to be executed showed up alive.
It's executed in a figurative sense.
It wasn't clear. Maybe some people did get executed. Maybe something was misreported, or who knows?
Fake news.
There does seem to be a bit of a discrepancy between the way the North Korean Central News Agency has been reporting on Trump and Kim's meetings, and Kim's sort of demeanor and his relatively jovial sort of atmosphere that has. I mean, he when he walked up to Donald Trump got to the border at the DMZ. It was what we were watching it on video last night. Trump arrived at the actual line first, and Kim sort of like almost rushed with a big smile on his face to, rush up and meet and shake Donald Trump's hand.
To hang out with his powerful American friend?
Yeah, well, they...
Dennis Rodman didn't show up.
No, Dennis wasn't there, but you've got to give Dennis Rodman some credit, I think.
I do.
I think he laid some important groundwork that Trump took advantage of.
The most notorious diplomat of our times.
So...
Can't say anything else to that. Yeah, it was amazing and weird all at the same time.
Yeah, it's
when
weird.
It's like Dennis Rodman is going to North Korea.
Right. Well, again,
the North Koreans like basketball.
Sure.
And there are better basketball representatives than Dennis Rodman.
Well,
yeah, but he is pretty cool, right? Like,
absolutely.
Dennis Rodman. And so, well, Dennis Rodman did something similar to what Trump did. Is he treated Kim Jong-un like a human being,
right?
Instead of some sort of crazed monster. And I don't know, maybe Kim Jong-un is pretty monstrous, or maybe he's just doing what he's been told he has to do, following in the footsteps of his father and his grandfather.
Maybe that's what the U.S. presidents have been doing up to this point, too.
Doing what they were told.
Right. They're just, it's unlikely that they thought that North Korea is really very important. So they're just like, whatever, we'll just handle it.
Well, they were important as the axis of evil. Remember, George Bush labeled them as the axis of evil along with Iran?
I really honestly believe that George was told that...
somebody said
he was told
this.
That, not, that he is.
The deep state.
Somebody wrote that speech, right? And it probably wasn't George Bush. So Trump, according to, this is the BBC, and the North Korean leader, Kim Jong-un, posed for handshakes before talking for nearly an hour. In the heavily fortified demilitarized zone, both countries agreed to set up teams to resume stalled nuclear talks. Their last summit broke down in February with no progress on denuclearization for North Korea. Critics have dismissed the occasion, the two leaders' third face-to-face encounter in just over a year, as a political theater, and say North Korea still needs to show that it's serious in getting rid of its nuclear weapons.
I'd like to see the critics go to the demilitarized zone. I mean, Trump could have been shot and killed.
He could have been, yeah. He crossed into North Korea like 30-something feet, as I understand it.
I just want to know.
Did not have anyone from the United States on his side. Now, clearly, he's got his agents on the other side, and I'm sure there's probably a sniper somewhere or whatever, but that doesn't mean they couldn't have sniped Trump.
Right. These North Koreans don't care they wouldn't care enough about their lives. They'd be happy to do the sniping in many cases. These soldiers are very much...
Right. This has to be the least...
gung-ho.
Sure. Now, this has to be, and I think it's an important point here, Mark, is this location had to be the least controlled of all of the mutual locations, because again, they've had two meetings prior to this. I think one was Singapore, the other Vietnam. Yep. And obviously, in those places, Secret Service goes in well in advance.
Yep.
They set up a perimeter. They set up their guys, their snipers, their black cars, whatever barriers they need. They get assistance from local police. They've got it locked down. They don't have anything locked down on the other side of the North Korean demilitarized zone. They don't.
Yeah, same thing with Kim Jong-un. He could have been sniped.
That's true.
And so, I mean, he's brave. These critics, you know what? They're patent leather shoe licking sycophants. They're like, hey, Barack Obama and stuff. Well, Barack Obama didn't have the guts to do this, or at least not the foresight to do it. Yeah. Maybe he would have had the guts. I don't know, but he didn't.
Do you think North Korea would have a better chance of getting rid of their nuclear weapons if they're seen as friendly with the United States?
That's the idea, is that Trump has basically proposed. Now, obviously, we don't know exactly what they've said to each other because they have closed-door meetings, but the claim is that Trump has proposed to Kim that, hey, look, you denuclearize, we get rid of the sanctions, you can then have international trade, and you'll have more wealth than you could ever have imagined having.
I think that's a true statement, and I think that probably what Trump's saying is hey, imagine hotels along your coastline, and imagine people coming here to visit, and all the kind of money that's going to bring in. Then you're running a country that's wealthy rather than running a country full of cart pulling peasants.
But having nuclear weapons prevents U.S. invasion.
That's the claim.
That's
as a baseline, but it also prevents U.S. money from coming in many cases too.
Okay.
But again, like Mark just pointed out, if Kim Jong-un was worried about being eradicated, then he shouldn't have gone to meet Trump at the border.
It's true.
Right? And he did. So let me get a little bit more here. Critics, according to the story here, in a meeting apparently arranged after Trump invited Kim on Twitter on Saturday. So short notice. I mean, we're talking about 24 hours, maybe?
Yeah.
Notice here? I mean,
there people put this together pretty quick.
Right. Kim got on a train, or however it was he gets out, because I've heard he's got an armored train car that he rides around in. So
sounds awesome.
Kim got this notice.
Put tractor tires on it and just take it anywhere.
Trump was already kind of in town. He was in Japan at the time, so he was nearby. He was going to be in Seoul. And so he's like, yeah, come on down, meet me, let's have a handshake. If you got time, we can do more. And they did a little bit more. Turns out they sat down for an hour and talked and agreed to resume the denuclearization discussions. So, I mean, 850, there's plenty of things you can criticize Donald Trump on. This isn't one of them. I mean, he's done amazing historic work here.
I'd like to hear otherwise.
No other American president has done, period, with the North Korean dictators. More coming up. It's Free Talk Live.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy? Come to Dynavite for help. Order a 90-day supply of Dynavite. Pick up 2 bottles of Lico Chops, get the 3rd bottle free. New improved Lico Chops with omega-6, omega-3, vitamin E, and now 6 extra direct-fed microbials. Even better for the digestive tract and immune system. And dogs love it. Try Lico Chops. Buy 2, get 1 free. This is Henry Lukasevic for Dynavite.
DINOVITE.com.
You love Bitcoin. It's the future, right? Well, no, not if everyone stops using it. I mean, think about it. How many places in your town take Bitcoin? 1? None? Let's be real. If this Bitcoin thing is ever going to happen, it's going to need your help. The good news is, the guys at AnyPay have your back. We built a website called helpmetakebitcoin.com, and it's a place you can send any business, and they'll be set up to take Bitcoin in 5 minutes. helpmetakebitcoin.com.
The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com.
There are basically 2 types of advertising: direct response and branding. Radio's great for direct response with its low cost to listener ratio, but audio can't be beat for branding, which is a longer-term endeavor. You want to be the first thing that someone thinks of when they think about your product or service. If you have a local business that you want kept top of mind in your community, call the station. If you need national reach, Free Talk Live's got around 200 radio stations, millions of monthly listening sessions, can suit all budgets, and if we don't think we're right for you, we'll tell you. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agrist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agrist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any skullduggery. So go with agrishosting.com. Have a WordPress or blog site, but you're not satisfied with performance or uptime? Or just want raw hosting? Want to pay with Bitcoin? Agris Hosting specializes in high-performance hosting with personalized service. Go to agrishosting.com and click on the button that says Get Hosted. That's agrishosting.com.
You can put the Liberty Radio Network on the air in your area. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how. Broadcast.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. You're invited. If you want to join us here, the toll-free number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. And with you tonight, Ian here.
Richie Rich.
And Mark.
Also, you can join us on our Discord call-in lines over on our Discord server, which is a free chat service that allows you to interact with other Free Talk Live listeners and basically around the clock. Plus, during our live show, you can call in via the on-air call-in line rooms that are there at the top of the list of channels. Go and check it out at discord.lrn.fm. Also, if you're ready to make a purchase or sell some Bitcoin Cash, get on over to local.bitcoin.com. It is the new website, new as of like less than a month old. It started on the 4th of this month. And so it's brand new. You know, they're still fixing a few bugs here and there. They've been very responsive to user suggestions in their Telegram chat room. I've been monitoring that. I've actually made a couple suggestions as well. And it's an international website that allows you to use different payment methods, dozens of them, in fact. A few of them include PayPal, Venmo, bank deposits, remittances, cash in person, and more. And this, by the way, happened to launch right as one of their major competitors got rid of cash in person purchasing of Bitcoin. So now you can do cash in person with Bitcoin Cash purchases through local.bitcoin.com. That's local.bitcoin.com. Communications are encrypted between buyers and sellers, so you've got privacy with this website. And also, the site itself does not hold your funds. Normally, when you create when there's a sale created, you have to authorize an escrow, and then there is a contract, a smart contract that holds the funds. So it's actually even still not the site that's holding the funds at that point. And then once the sale's done, you release the funds from escrow to the buyer, or if you're the buyer, you get the funds released from escrow, and it's very, very sharp. It works very well. Check it out at local.bitcoin.com. As we continue, let's go to Thomas. He's in Florida. We're talking about the historic meeting about 14 hours ago between Donald Trump and Kim Jong-un at the DMZ, and actually across the DMZ on both sides into North and South Korea. Both men walked and shook hands and had photographs taken, and then they sat down for an hour-long meeting, which was completely unprompted. We knew that there was a possibility it could happen, but anyway, Thomas, you're on Free Talk Live. Go ahead.
All right. Mark has a small penis.
Oh, okay. Well, that's maybe true, but I don't know. The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE. I dumped it anyway just because, it wasn't worth keeping on the air.
You said I had a small kitty?
No, something else.
You got cut off at the end there.
No, I didn't cut it. It went out, but
Okay.
I ended up dumping it to the radio audience just because it's probably not appropriate for radio.
I didn't hear the whole word.
My kitty's kind of obese. I mean, she's a little on the chubby side. I mean, she's not like fat, but she's a little on the chubby side. It's amazing that
How much does the kitty weigh?
Not much, maybe 12 pounds, 14 pounds, something like that.
But that's a little big for
a female,
for a small cat.
But she can still catch the critters.
Hey, you can join us. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. So I was playing the video for you guys while we were, on the break there, just to show you because you hadn't seen it yet. The historic moment between Donald Trump and Kim Jong-un. This is some of the audio. And I believe CNN's microphones do, or whoever it is that was filming this, it's branded by CNN, but the microphone does pick up some of the conversation between Trump and Kim as Trump sort of just saunters on up, relaxed. There's no one around him, by the way. It's not like he's got a phalanx of security guards at his every step. He's literally the only person besides a few camera guys that are in this DMZ.
Come to the demilitarized zone and come alone.
But come early to set up your snipers.
So you can hear. Now I don't know if that's Kim who actually spoke that because you can't see his
Sounded like
lips.
It's good English.
Well, he presumably.
Maybe an interpreter.
Well, that's what's not clear. You can't really tell that from the video. He may speak some English. Kim.
He probably has tried to speak some English.
Kim has. Remember, he went to school outside of North Korea.
Yeah, that's
Switzerland.
I believe it was Finland or Switzerland, one of those places. But when he was young, he went to this school. I thought it was college, but I was actually reading an article about it, and he was there much earlier than that.
I always thought that might be one of the factors that opens him up to like meeting with other world leaders.
I think
the fact that he
it
hasn't
is.
been as insulated.
I absolutely think that's true. And that's one of the things that leads me to believe that he's not as crazy about being the God man like his father and his grandfather before him, because he wasn't inculcated as heavily with all of that propaganda. And I don't think you were pressing. Yeah, I think you kind of pressed that button toward the end of that, but
I didn't get all the way down.
Yeah, I don't think you've been missing it quite a bit actually in recent.
I've got a terrible
days.
dry cough that I'm not. Terribly sorry to the audience if I didn't get that all the way.
I just had to give you the feedback there on the air.
Thank
you. Yeah, so I think that experience with Kim, and there was a really interesting article that I did not read the whole thing because it was really lengthy, that actually went and interviewed some of his classmates.
Yeah,
the people that had you seen that one?
No, but
Okay.
I mean, I know that he went to school outside, and it might be something right where he might be longing for that experience.
To reconnect with other people
outside of the country and not just be surrounded by yes men and bureaucrats all the time.
Right, and not just yes men, but people telling him what to do.
Right.
Oh, well, Kim, this is what your father did. This is what your grandfather did. This is what you have to continue.
Also, rich people like to travel in circles with rich people. It just, I don't know why they like to do it, but probably the same reason I like to travel in circles with middle-class people is because I can associate with them. I get it. I get what they're thinking. And I imagine Kim Jong-un wants to, I don't know, go to some casinos and see some shows and do some things, and probably doesn't get to do as much of that as he'd like.
Right, there's probably no casinos in North Korea.
If there were, it's just...
It'd be him.
Right, it's not... basically they have to employ people to come and act like they're, rich moguls, and that feels a little weird.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm just going to play a little bit more from the audio. Pick anything up. Yeah, so he's talking in... That's it. And he then walks, Trump then walks into...
Trump loves that,
Anything to one-up Obama.
Well, and it's interesting because there's actually a series of photographs that was published. I don't know if it was the BBC. Yeah, BBC has an article with some of the pictures with Trump and Kim, and then they actually show, to contrast, Obama. It says here, Trump's business suit was in contrast to his predecessor, Barack Obama, who wore a bomber jacket and binoculars, and may have been intended to send a different message about the visit. And there's Obama, standing however far away he was standing, observing the DMZ with military guys standing around him,
fatigues and hats.
Right.
And
so, Mr. Tough Guy, military badass image, whereas Trump's just dressed as he normally is, and he goes up there and
in a suit, kind of a sloppy suit, but a suit.
Hey, whatever. So
a suit.
Kudos to him for this. It's pretty amazing what's happened. Let me go on here with a little bit more from the BBC. Quote, "Good to see you again. I never expected to meet you at this place," a smiley Mr. Kim told Trump through an interpreter. Okay, so it was through an interpreter. In an encounter broadcast live on international television, Trump said in response, "Big moment, tremendous progress." Looking relaxed.
Big moment, great men.
Yeah.
Lovely weather.
Beautiful DMZ.
Mr.
It's
Kim
better now that I'm here.
Crossed into South Korea and alongside Mr. Trump said, quote, "I believe this is an expression of his willingness to eliminate all the unfortunate past and open a new future."
I believe that too.
And
see, and again, I'm skeptical because
it's good to be skeptical.
It's good rhetoric, right?
Yep.
It's good
Talk
rhetoric.
is cheap.
Well, what do you think is the downside here?
That
what are you
nothing.
skeptical?
Well, that nothing becomes of it. That it's all rhetoric.
So
right. Well, running up to a new election cycle for whatever reason.
So Trump gets reelected.
I'm not saying that that's a good or bad thing.
Right, that's the thing. I don't think it is a good or bad thing.
Okay.
I think that the person who's going to run against Trump is probably going to be pretty awful.
Okay, sure.
So if we consider this good, I guess what I want to say is it's good because if we otherwise, it's bad. And I don't want it to be bad.
Okay.
All right, more coming up here. We can get into it further, and your calls and thoughts are welcome if you want to join us. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. It's Free Talk Live's Live Sunday show.
Most of you know that heart disease is the #1 silent killer in the U.S. What if I told you for just $54.95 a month you could fight against heart disease naturally? At Heart and Body Extract, we've been helping thousands of people get back to a healthier heart. Don't just take my word for it. Check out all of the success stories at hbextract.com. Or to order, call 866-295-5305. That's 866-295-5305. hbextract.com. Don't risk it when you can take charge of it.
Have you checked your Google search results lately? Search results are usually the first impression that people form of you or your business, so make sure that they create a positive impression with Reputation Defender. What the internet says about you can have a big impact on your life and your livelihood, even if it's not true. Fortunately, you can now control how you look online and in online search results with Reputation Defender. Call 800-831-0771 now. That's 800-831-0771. For your free reputation analysis. If you have negative material from an ex-employee, upset patient, or former client, newspaper article, legal issue, social media, or other source showing up in your search results, you can combat it with Reputation Defender. Our dedicated experts in patented technology can help make your online search results look their best. Call 800-831-0771 to learn more. 800-831-0771. That's 800-831-0771.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of Slingbow, a new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
We have some good news. The indictments against Ross Ulbricht in the District of Maryland were dismissed with prejudice, meaning they can never be refiled. This is especially good because those indictments contain the only charge ever made that Ross engaged in murder for hire. This was a serious allegation that Ross Ulbricht denies. It was never prosecuted or ruled on by a jury, but was trumpeted by the federal government and the media as if it were proven fact. The Maryland court held these indictments for almost 5 years, poisoning Ross's case and leaving him under a cloud of unproven allegations. As explained in Ross's appeal to the Supreme Court, the fact that the judge used these allegations to give Ross a draconian sentence of double life without parole violated his Sixth Amendment right to a jury trial. Judges are required to issue sentences based on convictions decided by a jury, not unproven allegations never even charged at trial. Although this is a positive development, the dropped indictment will not set Ross free. Now, a presidential pardon is Ross's only hope of freedom. Sign the petition at freeross.org. freeross.org.
If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com to receive our usually weekly news updates by email. Plus, we have a Twitter account at twitter.freetalklive.com, and you can follow us on the decentralized Mastodon platform at toot.freetalklive.com. So please follow us at toot.freetalklive.com and sign up for our emails at news.freetalklive.com. What do you shop for that you could otherwise buy at Amazon? Pretty much everything, right? Amazon has competitive pricing and they deliver, and that's a big plus. If you could plan ahead in your shopping, would you be interested in saving up to 33%? There's a catch. You have to do your shopping in Bitcoin. But imagine those savings. It's like a huge raise. All you have to do is go to saveatpurse.com. We've saved thousands, and you can too. Plan ahead and save. Saveatpurse.com.
Help get LRN.FM into more ears. Visit promote.lrn.fm for a free bumper sticker, flyers, banners, graphics, and more. Promote.lrn.fm.
It is Free Talk Live. Live Sunday edition of the show. You're invited, as always, to join us here if you want. You can take control of the airwaves, although we've been talking about the DMZ historic handshake and then subsequent meeting that happened within the last 24 hours. It was like around 3 in the morning when we were watching it basically live. As it went down here, we were streaming actually on DLive and Twitch. Just happened to be playing some Overwatch at the time.
At 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, just taking a little break, having a little dinner, and that happened. And I felt like, wow, this is pretty cool. What Trump has accomplished so far, and it's just baby steps, but it's pretty big baby steps. I mean, all things considered, given that no U.S. president has ever had a conversation like Trump has had with Kim Jong-un. No sitting U.S. president has ever crossed into North Korea at all. A couple of them later on did go as like envoys or whatever. I think Jimmy Carter and Bill Clinton.
Right. You don't use the term former president, but in this case, it's probably appropriate, former president.
Right. So what happened? Well, Trump actually met Kim Jong-un at the DMZ. Historically, a very tense place. Right, where there's always, I don't know if you've read or seen, read any stories or seen any reports on this DMZ. There's like, basically the North and the South were sort of known for posting a guard on each side, and they just basically stood and stare at each other the entire shift. Like that's all that they do, just stand there with a weapon and just literally lock eyes in a 8-hour-long or 10-hour-long staring contest.
What a miserable job.
Probably more so for the North Korean, because I don't know how much they're getting paid versus the South Korean, but it's probably not a lot.
Well, as a relative sense, it's probably pretty similar.
Yeah. Okay. Well, of course, South Korea has conscription, so that person probably didn't want to be there in the first place to begin with.
Well, I don't know. I mean, would you take a conscribed soldier and put him there on that line? I'd want one of my jingoists there.
You'd want a volunteer.
I want a chauvinist.
The one who would win the staring contest.
I think there's a lot of, from what, again, I don't live there, but from what I understand, the culture, the conscription is looked upon fairly favorably by the populace there. This is the thing you have to do in order to become a man. You go into the military and you're our hero and you're defending us against the evil North. Basically.
Well, there's some Americans who would have that same rhetoric toward their kids.
They sure
going
would.
Into the military, conscription or not.
So, Trump saunters on up to the DMZ, to the demarcation line, and Kim kind of hurries to come up and meet him. Trump had kind of beaten him to it. And Kim walks quickly up, puts a big smile on his face, shakes his hand, says, "Good to see you again. I never expected to meet you at this place." Said Kim. Through an interpreter, Trump said, "Big moment, tremendous progress." Kim then crossed, or they skipped something here. Trump then crosses into North Korea several feet. I've heard it was 30 feet because he kind of like, there's like a clear like demarcation of the zone where like it's in the middle of the two countries, and then there's like the street on the other side. He crossed into that street on the other side.
Took some pictures and walked back.
Several North Korean photographers from the North Korean Central News Agency, obviously, because there's no other news agency in North Korea. They were there taking photos all over the place. Trump's completely alone. There's nobody he didn't have some burly Secret Service agent step across with him. He was completely
They could have carted
alone.
him off and used him as, ransom. They could have.
Well, I mean, if they tried that, there would have been, I'm sure, a shooting war that broke out right there.
And Trump would have been shot.
And yeah, he would have been dead. And Kim probably would have ended up dead as well in that circumstance.
Mutually assured destruction on a smaller scale.
So the symbolism was a big deal. And then afterwards, after shaking hands and taking photos on the North Korean side, Kim then crossed into South Korea and alongside Trump said, quote, "I believe this is an expression of his willingness to eliminate all the unfortunate past and open a new future." And for anybody to say something like that says that they understand that every day you have a new opportunity, right? That you can create your life and your experience anew. Basically, you can come at things from a new perspective. You can change how you look at life. And if Kim is willing, to drop all of the baggage from the past, and there's a lot of it. In North Korea, the people there are raised to believe that the United States is the cause of the power outages. that the United States is constantly sabotaging and attacking North Korea, and certainly the U.S. has not been friendly towards North Korea, but we all know that the reason they don't have power is because communism fails and central planning fails.
Well, and that's the other thing with the re-election coming is what will happen if a Democrat is elected and Trump is out of office. What happens to this relationship of the U.S. with North Korea?
Good question.
Right? Does the Democrat continue on to meet with Kim Jong Un as as an equal on a business level? Or do they go back to the bomber jacket military?
Go back to the saber rattling, the warmongering.
And if they do that, right, what's the incentive for North Korea to demilitarize and denuclearize now, knowing that within a couple of years they could be adversarial with the United States yet again?
Let's go to the phones here. Your calls and thoughts. Welcome. Toll-free number 855-450 free. Kelly is in Springfield listening to KWTO in Missouri. Hello, Kelly.
Hi, how are you?
Hey, great. You're on the air.
Yeah, I just want to say I like what the statements you just made about every day being a new start and able to change things and reverse what's taken place. From a Christian perspective, I like the direction Donald Trump is going. He hasn't always showed those signs of a willingness to be humble and to do things that really are quite remarkable. And I think today was very remarkable in the way that it really took some nerve and some guts to do what he did.
It did.
And I think it says to everyone watching him that this is kind of the guy that's been there ever since he took office, whether you like him or not. These things that they have come at him with, from Russia to whatever, right? Not anything. He is still stuck by his job. He still continues to do it every day. And I think he does a very good job for a man who's been facing all the distractions he's had to face since taking office.
Yeah, I don't think you're wrong about most of that. So.
Yeah, I don't know what I don't know. For me, a good job would be defined as doing the things that I want him to do in a given situation.
He's still doing things I don't want him to do. He's doing anti-liberty things in a lot of ways, and we've called him out for many of those things. But just like when we gave Obama some kudos for letting out some nonviolent drug offenders at the end of his term,
it seems to me we praised Obama less than we praised Trump, and I think it's because he did fewer things that I really wanted to see.
The good stuff from Obama came at the very end. It was very rare to see Obama do anything good during his term, but at the very end, when he finally was totally lame duck and on the way out, then he did a couple of somewhat compassionate things, like letting Chelsea Manning out of prison and pardoning some nonviolent drug offenders. So I agree. We want to say when these politicians actually get something right. It's rare, but when they get it right, they ought to be praised.
So you would call, or you'd be praising Trump for being the most authentic president then? So far, not.
Yeah, I would. I would. I would say not only authentic, but I would say that he's not this cowardly guy that he's been referred to recently. And I forget what the politician was that just said that recently. But
who called him? I don't remember him being called a coward. I mean, this seems like a strange thing to call him. I mean, I guess he didn't want to be in the military, and sometimes they'll call you a chicken for that. But
bone spurs,
whatever. Right. He had bone spurs.
Well, the other thing though, there are a lot of people that got deferments, and really, if you had the money, you could get the deferments, and that's a whole other subject. But what I would say about him is, he's owned up to that. He's not, he hasn't really ran away from who he is. He's so authentic that he is who he is. I mean, he puts it out there every day, and our best opportunity with Kim Jong-un or even the maniac in Iran is going to take someone like him who really makes bold moves daily. And whether you like him or not, and I heard what you said earlier, one of you just said that, I agree with you. He doesn't always do everything I like either. But from a Christian perspective, though, I do feel that this is the best opportunity Christians have had in a long time to feel a little bit safer. And I don't know if you'd agree with me on that or not.
It's hard for me to take a Christian perspective on much of anything, but I can tell you that my cousin, he's my nephew actually, my nephew's a minister, and he refused to vote for Donald Trump and instead voted for Gary Johnson, as I understand it.
Wasted vote.
Well, whatever. they're all wasted.
Yeah, wasted.
And so he voted for, the guy because he felt like, that grab him and where the sun don't shine part, he just couldn't live with that thing. And, I don't know.
So Kelly,
let me ask you this question. So let me ask you something.
Yeah, please.
Based on what you just said, I would say this: that Christians have this kind of understanding that we're all inferior. We all have these spots. We're not 100% pure and right about everything we do. We're not perfect. We're not Jesus Christ. So knowing that, I say let God deal with him on his bad parts. And as a Christian, let's hang on to the good stuff, the stuff that really makes the United States stronger, safer, and really gives us an opportunity instead of firing weapons.
Now, Kelly,
at
hang on if you
everybody
want, because you had said something about feeling safer as a Christian under Trump, and I want to know a little bit more about, are you in danger? It's Free Talk Live.
I'm a little obsessed with My Magic Mud. Several years ago, I met Jessica Armand, the founder and CEO of My Magic Mud, and I didn't even know my teeth were coffee stained. A week's worth of use convinced me, and now I use it every 3 or 4 days. It's clinically proven to whiten teeth, and I think it cleans better, too. My Magic Mud's available at most local health food stores, Sprouts, Natural Grocers, CVS, Walmart's Natural Beauty Aisle, but I can get it for you for 20% off with coupon code FTL20 at mymagicmud.com. FTL20 mymagicmud.com.
Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. local.bitcoin.com.
Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
PorcupineRealEstate.com.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. Online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow with your latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Gold is trading at $1,409, silver at $15.24, and Bitcoin is trading around $10,812. Today's prices are brought to you by InnoScale. Take off with Managed Cloud. Looking for a safe, secure way to store your important files online? Let InnoScale handle it for you. Their high availability cloud servers are the perfect solution for clients needing one or more secure, scalable servers with built-in hardware failover protection. For details, see them online at InnoScale.net. In the news, in a decision that voting rights advocates warned would open the floodgates for even more extreme and undemocratic redistricting than what is already in place throughout the nation, the Supreme Court effectively condoned partisan gerrymandering on Thursday by ruling that the practice is beyond its constitutional reach. The Mind Unleashed reports the ruling was 5-4 along party lines, with conservative Chief Justice John Roberts writing the majority opinion. Slate legal journalist Mark Joseph Stern tweeted Thursday that the High Court's ruling is the, quote, nightmare scenario for voting rights advocates, end quote. Frida Levinson, legal director at ACLU of Ohio, said the Supreme Court's ruling will allow the practice of gerrymandering to continue, to flourish, and to evade review by the judicial system, and leaves redistricting in the hands of those who will continue to abuse their awesome power whenever they can to defeat the will of the voters. In a scathing dissent, liberal Justice Alina Kagan accused the High Court's 5 conservative judges of abdicating their constitutional duties, quote, just when the courts across the country, including those below, have coalesced around manageable judicial standards to resolve partisan gerrymandering claims, end quote. The Liberty Beat is sponsored in part by Brave Botanicals. high-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven and believes so strongly in the power of kratom, they're giving it away for free. Just go to freeounceofkratom.com for a free ounce of kratom delivered to your door. Just pay shipping. That's freeounceofkratom.com. This is the latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Find us online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. Your news now continues. Twitter, on Thursday, announced it would suppress President Trump's tweets going into the 2020 election by downranking those which violate their rules via algorithms. Offensive material from the President of the United States will also receive a label that applies to all verified political candidates and government officials with over 100,000 followers. According to the Washington Post, before users can view the language in newly flagged tweets, they will need to click on a screen that says the Twitter rules about abusive behavior apply to this tweet. However, Twitter has determined that it may be in the public's interest for the tweet to remain available. The Mind Unleashed reports Twitter will deprioritize the labeled tweets so they would be seen by fewer people, which adds that the policy will go into effect immediately and will not apply to other influencers and leaders. It's also not retroactive. A Brazilian Air Force pilot who was one of the crew members on their way to serve as the advance guard for Brazil President Bolsonaro during the forthcoming G20 summit in Osaka, was arrested during a stopover in Seville en route to Japan, after Spanish customs officers discovered enough cocaine on him to fuel a small Wall Street bank's party for a month, in what has become an international embarrassment for Bolsonaro, who is known as Brazil's Trump and also the country's self-professed law and order president. The Mind Unleashed reports the 38-year-old airman appeared in court Wednesday on charges of drug trafficking after Spanish officials discovered 37 packets of cocaine weighing a total of 39 kilos in baggage. Officers from Spain's Guardia Civil took the crew member into custody, and a police spokesman in Seville said the whole bag was filled with drugs. Support for the Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? You can. Just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details. This is the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
Every 44 seconds, someone in the United States suffers a heart attack. In 9 out of 10 instances, the heart attack victim will fail to theatrically stumble to the ground and grasp their chest. Don't be a statistic. A heart attack occurs when oxygenated blood is obstructed from flowing properly to the heart muscle and requires victims to act quickly by lurching around with one hand clutching their chest and the other hand reaching out for drapes, blinds, or tablecloths to violently yank out. The first 30 seconds of a heart attack is a critical window. If standing at the time of an attack, move into what is known as the L position by doubling over and grimacing in an unnaturally strained fashion. Use one outstretched hand to grasp for support as you stumble forward, while using the other trembling arm to sweep everything off a table.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It's Free Talk Live. Launching into the second hour of the program here, we started out by talking about the historic meeting at the DMZ between North and South Korea, between Donald Trump and Kim Jong-un, that Trump just out of the blue tweeted saying, hey, hopefully Mr. Kim will come on up and shake my hand. I'm going to be in town. I'll come by the DMZ, and if you want to say hi, come on by. And it turns out he did. Kim Jong-un showed up, and the two men shook hands at the DMZ. They then walked maybe 30 or so feet on one side into North Korea. Trump alone, by the way, not being surrounded by Secret Service. And Kim also walking in basically alone to South Korea with Trump after walking to the North Korean side.
Lots of people with guns standing around, And I'd say both of these men, that was a brave act.
And politicians aren't the most noteworthy for being brave in any sense of the form.
Well, they're also they have people that are paid to be paranoid who stand around them and whisper in their ear, "Oh, you can't go there, you can't do that."
Right, and one of the things that was pointed out about Trump's invitation was he didn't run it by anybody. Like, he didn't talk to his advisors first. Well, should we meet with Kim? Is it going to be safe? No, he's just like, come on out. I'll be in town.
He's calling up a friend to come out for a beer as he was passing through town.
On Twitter. I think it's ridiculous what he did, honestly. But
it worked.
But it worked.
It worked, and it sort of restarted some of the talks.
And I believe in success as a system.
Let's go back to Kelly. Kelly called in from Springfield, Missouri, listening to KWTO tonight and commenting as a Christian. You made a statement, Kelly, that you feel as though Trump is making it, and I don't want to put words in your mouth, so please correct me here, but Trump is making it so that you feel more safe as a Christian?
Yeah, I really do. I mean, there's some things that he did initially when he was running. He picked Vice President Pence, and I feel very good about that. The man is very open about his faith, and I like what he says. And, as a Christian, it's by faith we are saved. It's not by works. So, I believe the faith in a man who will talk about Jesus, have people come and pray for him in the White House, that image is irreplaceable. And I didn't see that under Obama. There's not a time that I really can relate to remembering that. I'm not saying he never did, but I cannot remember one. And then if you look at some other things that I really like about him,
before you go on about that, I mean, you said you feel more safe. Are you feeling unsafe generally as a Christian? And what is it?
Do you feel persecuted?
What is it? I don't know. He didn't use that word.
Yeah, I was.
Okay.
Well, no, I wouldn't use the word persecuted. I just felt like that Christians' ability to speak out was getting limited. One example of that.
Yeah, give me an example.
Okay, I'll give you an example of that. One example of that is one of the things that he allowed, which was signing the Protect Religious Liberty Order, which basically gave churches more opportunity to be protected and to speak out in faith and to speak out about things that were politically out in the mainstream, like abortion and other things, and not have, whether you agree with it or not, but not be affected by the tax breaks they get and all the other things, including allowing federal government money to be spent on churches to rebuild after storms or something that happened, that earthquakes, tornadoes, whatever.
Now, how is it that the church is restricted from speaking on things? Are you talking about 501c3 status?
They can't advocate for a candidate.
Yeah, it was a part of that. It was a lot more difficult. There were a lot more restrictions until he signed that bill.
What are those restrictions?
Yeah, I'm not familiar with any of this.
I'm a founder of a church. Now, it's not a Christian church.
But it's not exclusive of Christians either.
Right. It's an interfaith church. So I don't think that what you're saying is true. Now, what I've heard, maybe it's because you've been given misinformation. There's probably a lot of that out there. There are some churches who do what's called a 501c3, and they do this unknowingly. They do this on usually bad legal advice from attorneys who want to make a bunch of money.
That's to set up the church as a nonprofit. Right?
No. What
They're
that
nonprofit
does
already.
Right. So by virtue of being a church, you're a nonprofit. And what
no, this is what I'm more talking about is I'll give you some examples. That's what you asked for.
Okay.
After Trump signed the executive order, which he signed when he first got into office, what it allowed was religious groups and individuals broad protection to express their beliefs when they came into conflict with government regulations, including when making hiring decisions. It gave them the ability to have a different litmus test. Also, the Health and Human Services Department also gave a new division aimed at protecting doctors and other medical professionals who didn't want to perform abortions, treat transgender patients, and take part in other types of care. Now, whether they agree with that or not, that is something that has come about due to what he has done. And then the other one, the big one for me, because of prophecy and what the Bible says, was addressing Jerusalem as the capital.
Oh,
that was important.
Why do you want Jerusalem as the capital? For God's sake, this seems like the most inane point. You want the world to end?
Well, Well, you know what? If you believe in the Bible, you know it's going to end one day anyway. Now,
so then what's the point of making Jerusalem the capital?
I like that because the fact that, one, they have a right to pick whatever capital they want. Number two, Israel has a right to the leaders there. That's important to them. It has the United States backing them and supporting them in so many areas, as I do, when it comes to their protection in the Golan Heights and many other divisive areas that people will talk about. It's important that that is a representation. It gives them more clout. It gives them more ability to argue on some of the things that they're arguing about that have been really chewed apart and really attacked in the United Nations.
Yeah, I don't know. It's hard for me to take the side of a state, especially a really leftist socialist state like Israel. But the only connection between Israel today and Israel 2,000 years ago is a name. I mean, there's really nothing else.
I thought Jerusalem is not wasn't it the capital of Israel?
No, they had to.
No, it never was.
They have to say it's Tel Aviv.
But I would say this to you. What my argument would be on that is, it is the chosen land for them. That is exactly what it is. It's in the Bible. And as a Christian, that's what we're talking about. Me as a Christian, I believe that land is theirs.
I can call myself a Christian, but you don't necessarily have to believe in the Bible.
No, but I'm just telling you what I believe. You ask me as a Christian. And the other thing I would say is allowing federal money to pay to rebuild churches. That wasn't available to them until he got into office.
It's like a loan, right?
After a natural disaster and use federal funds.
That's a loan, right?
Yeah, that is a loan.
Okay.
All right, Kelly. Hey, thanks. I think you answered the question. Did you have any other questions for him, Richie?
No, I just my question was about feeling unsafe.
Thanks for the call tonight. I definitely appreciate it, man. As far as the speaking out is concerned, and those, you can have whatever opinion you want about those issues, but as far as speaking out is concerned, usually what you hear about is churches get a 501c3. From the IRS, and they do this unnecessarily. They do this, in my opinion, completely unnecessarily. They have bad legal advice by attorneys that tells them, oh, you got to do this if you want people to be able to do tax-deductible donations to your church, and that's a lie. From my understanding, it is not true at all that you have to do that every church, by nature of being a church, is tax-deductible. The donations are tax-deductible. They do not have to be 501c3. But what ends up happening is when you get this 501c3 status, you're asking permission. You're begging the government to grant you this special status, and that means you've got to submit yourself to them. That means that you're then putting your church underneath the jurisdiction of the government, rather than just having a church and using your free speech.
Churches came first, the government came second, and I agree with you on that. I just want to point out that there was a vote, and I think I saw this in 2012, like when they screwed Ron Paul in the Republican convention. The Democrats did this in their convention, and there was a voice vote on whether or not they should recognize Jerusalem as the capital of Israel, and it was pretty clear that the yays were in favor on that, and the nays weren't. But they weren't winning. And the party leadership just shot it down right there. Said, nope.
Wow.
We're determining that you're wrong, and that's the other side of this. Is I think a lot of Americans want to see Jerusalem be the capital of Israel. I don't know why Americans get so excited about this little plot of land. The Israelites can take care of themselves.
The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. This is Free Talk Live.
Don't you hate that feeling in the pit of your stomach when the police pull you over? Most people have no idea how to handle it properly, and they promptly get fed into the municipal fee-generating meat grinder. Or maybe you recall that feeling you get when you go to the mailbox and see one or more letters from the IRS. You get a sense of impending doom, don't you? So let me ask you, if you could learn how to use the law to beat the IRS, traffic tickets, almost any courtroom scenario, collectors, credit card debt, and even mortgage debt because of fraud perpetrated against you, would that be worth knowing about? Don't laugh. Investigate. Check out the life-changing benefits of the Lighthouse Law Club at their website, lighthouselaw.club. That's lighthouselaw.club. And while you're at it, visit the Lighthouse Law Club YouTube channel. You might be in for a pleasant surprise.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy? Come to Dynavite for help.
Order a 90-day supply of Dynavite.
Dynavite is nutrition.
Pick up 2 bottles of Lico Chops, get the 3rd bottle free.
New improved Lico Chops with omega-3, omega-6, vitamin E.
And now, 6 extra direct-fed microbials.
Even better for the digestive tract and immune system.
Try Lico Chops. Buy 2, get 1 free.
At Dynavite.com.
DINOVITE.com.
Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. local.bitcoin.com. Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm. LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm. Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you're helping the state. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at bitcoin.com. That's bitcoin.com.
Some of our live shows are streamed in HD on Twitch. Please follow and share at twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live, and you can bring up whatever you want here. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. We've got the Discord on-air call-in line rooms. You can join us there at discord.lrn.fm. And in the studio tonight, it's Ian,
Richie Rich,
and Mark.
Mark, tell me about getting a mortgage from somebody who's not making a commission. Is this possible?
Oh, it's possible, and I think it's preferable. I mean, do you want to get a commission from somebody who's incentivized to offer certain do you want to get a mortgage from somebody who's incentivized through commission to offer you certain loans? I mean, maybe they'll do a bang-up job, but it's humans tend to be motivated by their incentives, and mortgage brokers are definitely incentivized by their commissions, whereas the salary-based mortgage consultants for American financing, not so much. It's a family-owned mortgage company. Then they've got an A+ rating by the Better Business Bureau and 3,200 Google reviews. They've never charged upfront fees, even though some do. And they've got every kind of loan that's available to you. You can apply right now through the telephone. You can go online through their digital mortgage, whatever you want to do, whether it's a refinance or you're looking to buy a new home or you want to take care of some debt that you've got or maybe even, some retirement issues. Whatever it might be, American Financing can help you. you can go to AmericanFinancing.net. That's their website, and that .net is pretty important. So AmericanFinancing.net, and you can start that digital process right now. If you prefer, like I probably would, to go through the old-fashioned way and give them a ring, should be right there ready for you right now. And if not, they will give you a ring back. 888-808-0303. 888-804-0303. And yeah, give them a call right now. Find out if you're buying a house at this moment and you're looking and you've got a mortgage set up, don't you want to run that by somebody else and see what they can do? 888-804-0303, AmericanFinancing.net.
What about the NMLS number?
Oh, yeah, thank you for that. It's 182334, and it's NMLSConsumerAccess.org.
All right, so we continue here, and we will take your calls and thoughts. I believe Bad Slave is on the line with us here. I don't know if he's going to... Yes. Is he there? He is there. Okay, go ahead.
Well, thank you for taking my call.
Sure.
And Mark and Rich, it's good to speak with all of you. I wanted just to say one thing. We brought up Trump and Un. And
Kim Jong-un.
Yeah, I agree with you guys, and I'm really happy to hear, the bunch of you agreeing that this is bold and, positive.
I don't know if Richie has said that, but I think Mark and I have said that.
Yeah, I'll grant bold. I don't know about
positive. Are you with
positive.
us on that, Rich?
I will grant bold. I'm still skeptical because I still believe that there's probably some unspoken reason for doing this beyond world peace and peace between the Koreas.
You know what? I don't actually care at this point because I think that these two gentlemen have the possibility of forwarding a safer world. And I think
that's
they're
true.
going to get together and do that, I'm going to have to say it's positive.
Even if all of Trump's motivation is that
you can have your reservations.
Sure. Well, look, even if Trump's motivations here is that he just wants to be remembered for something, okay, that's fine. I mean, he has made history, and he's continuing to make history in these cases. And if that's what his motivation is, that's cool. But if that results in more peace, if that results in an end to the Korean War, if that results in sanctions being dropped from North Korea, I mean, obviously this is very optimistic talk, right?
Yes.
Like those things haven't happened yet, but there have been symbolic things that have occurred over the last year. For instance, North Korea got rid of its own special time zone. I don't know if you knew about that, but they had a
silly time zone.
Several years ago, they had set an arbitrary time zone of a half an hour either behind or ahead.
I thought it was 15 minutes.
No, it was a half hour.
Okay. There's a few 15-minute time zones out there, too.
Where they set it like either, I forget it was ahead or behind South Korea, just to be different.
Just to be different.
And they undid that. They went and got back.
I bet they're not backing off of that unicorn's nest that they have, though.
The same time zone. They got rid of the loudspeakers that were broadcasting propaganda on both sides that were blasting propaganda across the DMZ, across the border from one side to the other. They got rid of those. They did symbolically destroy a nuclear testing site, but the critics pointed out that it was already slated for decommissioning or something like that. So that wasn't really a big deal, but it was something. So they've done some sort of symbolic things that, again, as I pointed out before, Trump didn't have to do any of this. And so he could have just ignored Kim Jong-un. Kim Jong would have shot some missiles into the ocean. Can
I get in here, Edgewise?
Yep.
Yeah.
My observation of presidential administrations has, I always approach a new occupant as a president with, I start out with optimism. I said, what's the sense in expecting the worst? And I remain an optimist.
Well, I'm the reverse. I'm in no way optimistic about presidents. They're all, to me, a bunch of thugs, and I expect them to destroy freedom, and I expect them to do nothing to advance liberty in their time. Yes. And as Rich pointed out here, Trump isn't advancing freedom, but at the very least, he's doing something symbolic for what could be more peace in the world, and that's something. I mean, it's worth talking about. It's worth acknowledging.
Part of the reservation is if you hang this all on Trump and his ego, again, what happens when he's out of office?
Well, that's a good question.
Does it then go back to being adversarial? Can whoever his successor is continue on with those relations in the same way that he has? If it's based on his personality?
I predict, guys, that if Trump gets reelected 2020, that we will see a paradigm shift of some sort.
Why would it change in 2020 and not now?
Well, I'm just saying that we're in the middle of it now.
What kind of paradigm shift?
That if he is able to continue doing what he's, because what I was going to say when I was bringing up the, my optimism and all of that, I have been dashed almost every time.
Oh, sure.
And
okay.
Why are you still optimistic then? Doesn't the evidence support the contrary?
Pollyanna syndrome.
Well, no, I am an optimist, Rich, because there is no upside in being a pessimist.
I don't blame you for that position. I'm not. And thank you for the call tonight, Bad Slave. I appreciate hearing from you. Look, I'm generally optimistic about the world. I'm generally optimistic about liberty and our chances. If I weren't, I don't think I would be here doing this.
Okay.
I don't think I would do activism if I wasn't optimistic in general, but that doesn't mean that I am optimistic about individual politicians. I expect the worst. I expect lies. I expect, scumbag behavior, and usually that's what you get in spades with these guys.
And I think that carries on with Trump, too. I don't think
absolutely.
He's
done some terrifying, terrible things when it comes to the border and tariffs and horrible, bad economics and all of that. But in this case, he's getting it right. And North Korea and the people of North Korea may end up being better off because of it. There's more coming up here in moments. It's Free Talk Live.
This is a special alert for business owners, consultants, coaches, folks planning retirement, entrepreneurs, and anyone who is saving and investing to build a financial future. You are likely aware that financial privacy for most people has recently died a miserable death. And let's face it, without privacy, there really is no security, is there? Bankrupt governments and banks on the verge of collapse are perhaps the biggest threat to your financial future today. The Lighthouse Law Club recognizes this and has been working diligently to provide safe, secure, and productive tools to ensure your privacy, your financial security, and your future financial well-being, despite the catastrophes which many people fear are looming ahead of us. Find out more with a variety of free videos on the YouTube channel for Lighthouse Law Club. Just search YouTube for Lighthouse Law Club and secure your future today.
Fact Zone, I'm Brooke Alvarez. Our top story tonight, Congress has passed a bill naming incomprehensible shouting the official language of the United States.
I'm sick and tired of listening to people who say that Americans should not know what to know, and that's not what it is. What the policy is, the red-blooded American is what we have in this day and age.
Under the new law, public school classes will only be taught in incomprehensible shouting, and government agencies will no longer offer translators to non-shouting speakers. In addition, a new test will be added to the naturalization process, whereby potential immigrants must prove they have a working knowledge of incomprehensible shouting before they're granted citizenship. The movement started in 2008 with a grassroots organization called Americans for Doing It Right, because we gotta now, because who else, right? Come on!
This is the Onion News Network, a tomahawk of honesty in the skull of lies.
So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com. The LRN.FM social media channels have been revamped. We've eliminated Facebook and focused on other platforms like Twitter and Mastodon, the decentralized alternative to Twitter. On our accounts, you'll find posts from multiple LRN.FM show hosts together in one place. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm, or better yet, move to the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm. I think you'll like it.
Would you like to hang out with Penn Jillette? He's keynoting Freedom Fest this year. I, for one, am thrilled. Freedom Fest is the largest liberty-oriented gathering in the world. They take a Big Ten approach with libertarians, conservatives, liberals, anarchists, and just open-minded people mingling together to hear real debates, share real solutions, and converse freely. This year's theme is the Wild West, a time of liberty and opportunity, or a time of anarchy and violence. Maybe both. Go to freedomfest.com/FTL and get your tickets now. freedomfest.com/FTL. Not convinced yet? Hey, I understand. It's a high-end event, even with coupon code FTLEB. Sure, you're likely to receive investment advice that'll make that sum seem paltry, but I have something special for you. Go to freedomfest.com/FTL and you'll get the 5 best speeches from last year for free. Call it a test drive. Do yourself a favor and go to freedomfest.com/FTL. freedomfest.com/FTL. Use coupon code FTLEB for a discount.
Love what we do? Please help support our international satellite channels at patreon.lrn.fm. That's patreon.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. You may dial toll-free. Take control of the airwaves here. Bring up whatever you want. Our number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. It's 855-450-3733. Coming up, we are going to Las Vegas for Freedom Fest 2019.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm excited to see everybody who's there. This year's theme, by the way, is the Wild West, a time of opportunity and liberty, or lawlessness and violence. Well, we'll see. Penn Jillette is going to be keynoting, and there's a whole list of folks. John Stossel, Justin Amash, Glenn Beck, Herman Cain, Senator Mike Lee, Kevin Sorbo, who I was supposed to interview like 2 days ago, and I got to talk to him on Skype, but that didn't work out. Anyway, Thomas Massey, and can you pronounce this name for me, Ian? Veronique, the rugby?
Where is it?
Down here at the bottom.
Oh, at the bottom? I've never seen it before. Veronica, is it Veronique or Veronica? Veronica.
I don't know.
Veroni. It must be Veronique de Rugi.
Something.
I recognize the spelling.
Somebody
I've never
out there's like, I
it.
know who that is.
Oh, I'm sure. I got the impression that it's kind of a famous person. I mean, they're not speaking for nothing, right? freedomfest.com/FTL.
From the Mercatus Center.
Oh, that's right. That's why I put him in, because it was
it's
her,
a
right?
she.
Right. That's why I put her in. freedomfest.com/FTL to get your tickets. It's July the 17th through the 20th at the Paris in downtown Las Vegas. Love to see you there. And if you need a little more convincing, go to freedomfest.com/FTL. Watch the 5 best speeches from last year. Judge Napolitano, Alan Dershowitz, Charlie Kirk, Heather McDonald, John Mackey, all for free. freedomfest.com/FTL. Use coupon code FTL50. Save $50 off the ticket price. We'd love to see you there. That's coupon code FTL50 at freedomfest.com/FTL.
So, overarching conversation here tonight has been sparked by the historic meeting of Donald Trump and Kim Jong-un. Relatively unpredicted meeting. Trump just, throwing out there an invitation. Hey, I'm going to be in town. I'll come up to the DMZ if you want to come shake my hand. And he did.
Do you remember the sort of thing in the 90s when they'd say an historic meeting?
Because the H is silent?
Well, it's not.
As opposed to a historic meeting?
Right. They were basically, yes, as opposed to a historic meeting. Mm-hmm. They would say an historic all the time. But they wouldn't say an horse,
right.
I think it's is correct, not an, but I could be wrong. I'm not an English major.
Well,
I've heard an as well, but it usually follows an historic meeting, right, where you don't really pronounce the full in the H. Like it's like skips half the H and goes into the I. So
let's remember that grammar is not right or wrong. Grammar is a stylistic. Mm-hmm. So I think that it was a stylistic thing, but why would they do it on just one thing? But the TV commentators were doing it all the time.
Like as opposed to "an car accident"?
Right. Well, it would be it wouldn't.
There was
an
"an baseball game."
Right. You don't say "an hillbilly." I'm saying it would only be used for the letter H. You do say,
and not all H's.
An animal. You do say an egret. You do say an igloo, an ocelot, and ukulele.
Because "an" precedes a vowel.
A ukulele. You'd say a ukulele.
Depends.
So it's not the sound. People say "an ukulele."
I don't know, but it's a U.
Yeah, it's a U.
So grammatically, it would be "n."
Weird. Yeah, English language. Sorry about it, folks.
But the pronunciation is a Y, right?
Yeah, that's the reason. It is phonically based.
Right. So that's what I'm saying with historic. They don't always pronounce the full H. So
weird.
And historic, it flows right into the I sound.
Yeah.
I don't understand.
You'd
that.
hand somebody a utensil, not an utensil. So I think maybe it was when the U is as opposed to y.
And umbrella.
Right. And an umbrella. Yep. Thank you very much.
All right.
You saved me.
So back a little bit more on the meeting, this historic encounter at the border at the DMZ between North and South Korea, where both men, Trump and Kim Jong-un, went and crossed together first into the north side. Trump all by himself, basically, and then they came back and crossed into the south side, posing for photos and handshaking. And for a brief, then they actually got together in a building at the site known as the Freedom House on the South Korean side, where the two men talked for almost an hour, which was initially just billed as a short greeting, but they ended up spending much more time together.
So Kim Jong-un stayed on the south side longer than Trump stayed on the north side?
That's correct, yeah.
I'd say that's the more brave thing to do. Kim Jong-un really could have been spirited away, and that would have been a very bad thing for his...
Well, it would have been a stupid thing for anybody to spirit him away, because then, the conflict would rise up and would be
What do they
even
care
worse.
about conflict?
Who care?
Well, okay, so the party that would spirit him away is then on the defensive and fighting on their own turf. They're ready for that.
Right, but if people actually want to end this conflict, that would be the last thing that they would want to do.
I'm just proving that people do want to end this conflict.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Wouldn't that be cutting off the head of the North Korean snake, though?
No.
Like, who would
He's
rise
just
to
the
power?
Head. There would be somebody else.
Okay. But they wouldn't have the same lineage.
It could be a general.
Okay.
It wouldn't be a good thing necessarily for the North Korean people. If indeed this DMZ is going to come down, or be just turned into a museum or something like that, if indeed the Korean War is going to end and North and South Koreans would be allowed to cross in between the two countries for the first time in 60, 70 years or however long it's been now, that'll be an incredible moment. But these are initial moments that are also very historic. It says here, for a brief moment, Trump and Kim were joined by South Korea's President Moon Jae-in for an unprecedented three-way gathering.
That's great.
Speaking next to Trump in a rare statement to the press, Kim said the meeting was a symbol of their, quote, excellent relationship, calling their friendship, quote, particularly great. Mr. Trump, who once referred to Kim as Little Rocket Man, said it was a great day for the world.
He said worse about other people.
And that he was, quote, proud to step over the line, unquote, between the Koreas. North Korean media has yet to mention the talks, according to this story at the BBC, although they do typically wait until the next day to report on the news, because it's not like they have to be in a hurry. They don't have any competition.
Right.
They got to get their story straight.
Yeah, well, get their story according to the censors or whatever.
Yeah.
A number have been to the armistice line that has divided a number of presidents, that has divided the peninsula since the Korean War ended in 1953, largely to show support for the South. Both Jimmy Carter and Bill Clinton have been to North Korea, flying into the capital, Pyongyang, but only after they left office. And so Trump is the first to actually do what he did with North Korea. So kudos to him for this. According to a different story at the BBC, they do say that Trump has also invited Kim Jong-un to the White House. Trump has confirmed that he has made the invitation, but as of right now, nothing has been formally arranged. So that could be the next step. That could be the next location for the next summit, would be to have Kim Jong-un come to D.C. which would again be something completely unprecedented. So
it'll be interesting, to say the least.
Yeah, I'm very interested. I mean, I find this to be absolutely fascinating.
I say bring them into the family of nations or whatever. Let them begin patching things up. There's really no particular reason for all of this. It only puts the people of Guam.
You mean continuing conflict? You mean?
Yeah, the continuing conflict that keeps going on. Putting the Japanese, the South Koreans, the I don't know what you call people from Guam. Guamanese.
Guamanians.
Guamaniacs.
Right.
Gonna have to look that up during the break. Yeah, I mean, it puts them in danger.
So that's my thoughts. Appreciate you guys. If you want to comment, you're welcome to join us here. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. And as this situation continues, hopefully to develop positively, I mean, again, there's a long way to go here, but these are initial steps, and they are worth noting and worth some praise towards Donald Trump in this instance. And I share your concerns, Richie, like, who's next? If it's not Trump, what happens then with this built relationship? Will it all crumble? Will this next person, if it's not Trump, will they just, take a crap on it and kick Kim Jong-un back out to the curb and, continue the old ways with North Korea? That's an important question.
Well, and it could be just to spite Trump, right?
There's more on the way here. Our number is 855-450-FREE, and you can join us here. Coming up, a digital Declaration of Independence next.
Let me ask you something. What are you doing when you put money in a 401k or IRA, or store jumper cables in your vehicle, or purchase health insurance? You're preparing. You're preparing to ensure you have enough money for retirement. You're preparing for when your car battery dies, or to have assistance paying a major unexpected medical bill. That all makes sense. The same goes for building a food storage plan. You're preparing for when emergencies or disasters strike and shelves go empty at your grocery store. The best way to prepare is with My Patriot Supply. They've helped 1 million hardworking Americans become more self-sufficient. My Patriot Supply sells hundreds of items, including dozens of emergency food kits, at MyPatriotSupply.com. It could be an earthquake, a cyber attack freezing our banking system, or a disaster that shuts down our power grid for weeks. For all these emergencies and more, get your supplies and prepare today at MyPatriotSupply.com. No more rushing to find empty store shelves because you're too late. Do it now so you're ready. MyPatriotSupply.com.
Policies issued by American General Life Insurance Company, Houston, Texas. Not available in all states. For details, visit AIGdirect.com.
Do you have a family? Would you like to help make sure they'll be taken care of if anything were to happen to you? If you answered yes, you probably need life insurance. Now, do you think life insurance is expensive? If you answered yes to that too, you definitely need to give AIG Direct a call. We could find you a $250,000 policy for just $14 a month, which means you could save hundreds of dollars a year. Call us now for a free, no-obligation quote. 1-800-919-5435. Since 1995, we've helped millions of people find out if they could save up to 70% on their term life insurance. See how affordably we can help you protect your family. Call AIG Direct now for your free quote. 1-800-919-5435. You could save up to 70%. That's 1-800-919-5435. 1-800-919-5435.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippie! Jesus. On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you gotta keep you and your gat intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadavi.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get one free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm. The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount.
Now you can follow LRN.FM on the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm.
Hey, it's Free Talk Live. It is the live Sunday edition of the show. Our toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Also, I want to say thank you to Brandon, who is a Free Talk Live Silver Amplifier, which means that Brandon is giving $5 a month to the AMP program. And AMP stands for Advertise, Market, and Promote. The idea is that we're already on over 200 radio stations from coast to coast inside the United States and a little bit beyond that. We were talking about Guam, actually. We're on regularly in Guam.
It's Guamanian, by the way.
Oh, you looked it up.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. And so, if you want to help support what we do, you want to help us get on to 300 radio stations, then please, you can amp the show at amp.freetalklive.com, just like Brandon, and we certainly appreciate it. You'll get some cool perks as a result of your amp, like access to the AMP-only Facebook group for those of you still hanging out on Facebook. If you're on our Discord server, there's special supporters chat rooms there as well, and some other perks and benefits. Go over to amp.freetalklive.com. You can learn more about the AMP program there and get signed up with credit card or PayPal or Bitcoin BTC. It's ampamp.freetalklive.com. As we continue here, changing gears to digital independence. Richie, you had brought a story in tonight about, I believe it was the Wikipedia founder?
Co-founder.
Co-founder?
Yep. The Declaration of Digital Independence.
So it sounds like a nice name. I don't know what it contains. I purposely didn't read it before the show. It sounded like a really interesting discussion. So let's get into it. And I presume he's going to explain why it was created in the first place?
Yes. So
tell me more.
Humanity has been contemptuously used by vast digital empires.
He didn't say Google, though.
No, of course not. Thus, it is now necessary to replace these empires with decentralized networks of independent individuals.
Okay.
As in the first decades of the internet, as our participation has been voluntary, no one doubts our right to take this step.
Is this the actual declaration, or is this a preface?
There's a prelude, the reason behind it, and then the principles that they want to follow.
Is this the prelude part?
This is the prelude.
Okay, got it. Go ahead.
Sorry, I had to get back to my page.
Yeah, no problem.
But if we are to persuade as many people as possible to join together and make reformed networks possible, we should declare our reasons for wanting to replace the old. We declare that we have unalienable digital rights, rights that define how information that we individually own may or may not be treated by others, and that among these rights are free speech, privacy, and security. Since the proprietary centralized architecture of the internet at present has induced most of us to abandon these rights, however reluctantly or cynically, we ought to demand a new system that respects them properly. The difficulty and divisiveness of wholesale reform means that this task is not to be undertaken lightly. For years, we have approved and even celebrated enterprise that has profited from our communication and labor without compensation to us. But it has become abundantly clear more recently that a callous, secretive, controlling, and exploitative animus guides the centralized networks of the internet and the corporations behind them.
Well, before you go on, I mean, there's compensation when you use Google. You get a product. You're getting an
search.
Email.
Yeah,
or you're getting search, or you're getting these different things.
I hate that. people who used to pay for media and understand that you had to pay for media, you're not going to walk into a newsstand and take a newspaper for free. You're not going to grab a Time magazine off the shelf for free. That suddenly they get on the internet and everything's just supposed to be free. And admittedly, you don't have to pay for the paper. You don't have to pay for the ink. You don't have to pay for a lot of things.
The cost of publishing is dramatically lower. That's true.
Right, but there's still a writer.
Yep.
There's still an editor. There's still some people creating this and curating this content for you. And that's just supposed to be free?
Well, a part of that is expectations built into the internet from the founder.
This guy's building an expectation in by saying that it should be free. And a search engine should be free? Or should librarians work for free?
Wait, did he say it should be free? I missed that in the proposal.
Well, he said the lack of compensation.
Okay.
So I don't think he's suggesting yet. Like
he said the rights that I heard were privacy, security,
and speech.
Yeah, and free speech. So that didn't say anything about everything should be free.
I think you have free speech, but as far as privacy goes, you exchange it when you go and do things.
That's what
like
he's
Google.
complaining about here, I think. And that is one of the other quibbles I wanted to make with this is, well, when he says a right to security, is he saying that, is it like when the government says you have a right to health care, meaning that somebody's forced to provide you with health care?
I think it's digital security, since this is the digital declaration.
But is he saying that
encrypted communications?
Sure, but is he saying that you have a right to it in that somebody has to be forced to provide you with security procedures or security products or whatever? I don't know if that's what he's saying, but when you hear people saying you have this right to this thing, maybe what he's saying is you should have a right to have security if that's what you want, in which case you can.
I think it's more an answer to governments wanting backdoors to be built in and banning encryption. In was it Australia bans certain types of encryption?
Did they?
At some point, yeah, it was. It either happened or they were talking about it.
Wow.
And that's the new thing, right? You're not allowed to have encrypted speech.
No more secrecy.
No more secrecy. So part of that, I think that's the answer to that aspect of it.
Okay.
And oh man, I wanted to address something Mark said, but that's okay. We'll move on. The long train of it, because I forgot.
Okay.
If you remember, we'll come back to it.
The long train of abuses we have suffered makes it our right, even our duty, to replace the old networks. To show what train of abuses we have suffered at the hands of these giant corporations, let these facts be submitted to a candid world.
Of course, he says here, giant corporations. He does not call out states.
Right.
When he says it. I mean, is a state a giant corporation? Yes, it is. But that's not what people say when they mean when they say giant corporations. I mean, Google got where it got by providing the best search engine, or at the very least, the search engine that was most desirable to people. And that is, to me, a better claim on your information. Saying, I'll exchange you some searches for some of your information so I can market to you and sell that marketing to other people and things like that. I mean, people, they know that's what they're doing. They may not know everything about what they're doing, but that's what they're doing. And then governments kind of step in and say, oh, well, there's people who are too dumb to be able to make these arrangements, and they don't know everything that's going on, so we're going to have to regulate this. The government got where it got by threatening people.
Yeah. But I remember what I wanted to address, the paid content aspect of things. Now, it was built into the internet that things were free, and then now that becomes the expectation. But these big corporations are there to make money, and this is part of a conversation that I was having with a friend of mine yesterday. Was all the deplatforming that has been going on, by Google, by Facebook, by YouTube, by the big corporations, as a money-making scheme, because they believe that by cleaning up their platform, they can then sell their services to a more willing audience. And I said, well, you could have, you could have a paid platform, right? The people being demonetized, on YouTube, can have a paid platform. Like, you don't have to have Google supported ads in your videos.
Yep.
You can have your own ads and just you sell your own advertisement, and then you can upload whatever you want for a fee, right? You pay to upload your video for however many.
You're talking about a theoretical platform that doesn't exist.
Theoretical.
Okay.
But I think with Patreon, you can set up a situation where Patreon people get videos specially for them.
Yep, that's true.
So that is possible.
Right. But I'm saying,
does Patreon host those videos, or is it like an unlisted video on YouTube?
I think Patreon does the hosting. Patreon
Really? Yeah.
hosts.
Interesting.
Patreon hosts my audio on a weekly basis, and I don't have a lot of subscribers, but
Neither do we.
But my audio goes up there on a weekly basis. As small as an audio file is for an hour-long podcast, and I don't pay Patreon anything at all, and it's just all there.
Well, they must take a cut off the donations.
If I had donations, and I don't have enough, I went through such a long period of time with no donations. They were still hosting for free.
Oh, interesting.
But they could have charged, right? And then it would have been my responsibility to find a revenue source to pay for the uploads.
Gotcha.
And they didn't. All right. That's all I want to say. Like it's theoretically possible to have a platform that doesn't deplatform you.
We know Patreon's deplatformed people too, but yes, in theory, it would be possible to do that.
Nobody has been screwed by Google in that way. I mean, as much as they want to say that YouTube has screwed them by deplatforming, all those other things, I mean, ultimately, it's their platform, and they can decide to change payouts, and they can decide to kick people off. I think that
people
the problem,
see that as screwing, though. I mean, if somebody has become reliant on a paycheck from Google or /YouTube, and then that paycheck cuts in half or cuts by, is decimated, down to a tenth of its size or something like that, they will see that as being screwed, even though, yes, Google had the right to do it because it's their platform.
Because the invitation was there. The YouTube founding was, these are your videos, you put them up, we host them for you, and if you want to make money, here's how we have designed.
But on the other hand, you can't blame YouTube for saying, yeah, we don't want Chris Cantwell here.
I'm not blaming them at all.
The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE, but that's not, I don't think, where this is going. We're going to get into the Declaration, which we haven't started that part yet, right?
Right.
Declaration. Coming up here of digital independence on Free Talk Live.
Are you concerned that the values that made America great are no longer taught in schools? Well, I am, so I got my son the Tuttle Twins children's book series.
My name is Jack, and I'm 11, and I just finished the Tuttle Twins series. It taught me about liberty, free market economics, and entrepreneurship.
Give all the young people in your life a chance at reason and clear thought, because they're not going to get it at school. There are 9 books in the series, and each one teaches a set of ideas that children aren't getting elsewhere. Go to TuttleTwins.com and use coupon code FTL to get 40% off. That's TuttleTwins.com.
Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. local.bitcoin.com.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up at any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. Online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow with your latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Gold is trading at $1,409, silver at $15.24, and Bitcoin is trading around $10,812. Today's prices are brought to you by InnoScale. Take off with Managed Cloud. Looking for a safe, secure way to store your important files online? Let InnoScale handle it for you. Their high availability cloud servers are the perfect solution for clients needing one or more secure, scalable servers with built-in hardware failover protection. For details, see them online at InnoScale.net. In the news, In a decision that voting rights advocates warned would open the floodgates for even more extreme and undemocratic redistricting than what is already in place throughout the nation, the Supreme Court effectively condoned partisan gerrymandering on Thursday by ruling that the practice is beyond its constitutional reach. The Mind Unleashed reports the ruling was 5-4 along party lines, with conservative Chief Justice John Roberts writing the majority opinion. Slate legal journalist Mark Joseph Stern tweeted Thursday that the High Court's ruling is the, quote, nightmare scenario for voting rights advocates, end quote. Frida Levinson, legal director at ACLU of Ohio, said the Supreme Court's ruling will allow the practice of gerrymandering to continue, to flourish, and to evade review by the judicial system, and leaves redistricting in the hands of those who will continue to abuse their awesome power whenever they can to defeat the will of the voters. In a scathing dissent, liberal Justice Alina Kagan accused the High Court's 5 conservative judges of abdicating their constitutional duties, quote, just when the courts across the country, including those below, have coalesced around manageable judicial standards to resolve partisan gerrymandering claims, end quote. The Liberty Beat is sponsored in part by Brave Botanicals, high-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven, and believes so strongly in the power of kratom, they're giving it away for free. Just go to freeounceofkratom.com for a free ounce of kratom delivered to your door. Just pay shipping. That's freeounceofkratom.com. This is the latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Find us online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. Your news now continues. Twitter, on Thursday, announced it would suppress President Trump's tweets going into the 2020 election by downranking those which violate their rules via algorithms. Offensive material from the President of the United States will also receive a label that applies to all verified political candidates and government officials with over 100,000 followers. According to the Washington Post, before users can view the language in newly flagged tweets, they will need to click on a screen that says the Twitter rules about abusive behavior apply to this tweet. However, Twitter has determined that it may be in the public's interest for the tweet to remain available. The Mind Unleashed reports Twitter will deprioritize the labeled tweets so they would be seen by fewer people, which adds that the policy will go into effect immediately and will not apply to other influencers and leaders. It's also not retroactive. A Brazilian Air Force pilot who was one of the crew members on their way to serve as the advance guard for Brazil President Bolsonaro during the forthcoming G20 summit in Osaka, was arrested during a stopover in Seville en route to Japan, after Spanish customs officers discovered enough cocaine on him to fuel a small Wall Street bank's party for a month, in what has become an international embarrassment for Bolsonaro, who is known as Brazil's Trump and also the country's self-professed law and order president. The Mind Unleashed reports the 38-year-old airman appeared in court Wednesday on charges of drug trafficking after Spanish officials discovered 37 packets of cocaine weighing a total of 39 kilos in baggage. Officers from Spain's Guardia Civil took the crew member into custody, and a police spokesman in Seville said the whole bag was filled with drugs. Support for the Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? You can. Just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details. This is the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
Images of destruction are flooding in, and the worst isn't over. Experts warn that Hurricane Ashley could strike as many as 8 bars throughout the day. Her Cinco de Mayo plans, combined with all the recent drama with Scott, have created perfect conditions for Hurricane Ashley to cause a lot of damage this afternoon and well into the evening. Here's a look at Ashley's path of destruction so far. At 11 a.m., she landed on Foster Street, moving from O'Murphy's to the Blue Iguana, hitting the place that does the mini pizzas the hardest. And she's expected to merge with other high-pressure systems, including BFFs Jessica and Christy, within the next hour. Forecasters predict that some areas could see all 3 grown women obnoxiously shouting, wearing sombreros and fake mustaches as early as 5 p.m. The whirlwind might not die down until close to 2:30 a.m. when she's expected to be kicked out of a reggae bar called the Lion's Den for saying something racist. Our thoughts are with everyone in her path.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It's Free Talk Live, and we're launching into the third hour of the program. As always, you're invited to join us here if you want. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. We're talking about the so-called Digital Declaration of Independence, and we're kind of getting the preface, the explanation from one of the co-founders of Wikipedia. Did it mention which one it is? Because I remember there's like a guy named Jimmy who's behind Wikipedia.
Authored by Larry Sanger.
Larry Sanger. And so he's upset with the invasions of privacy by some of these mega corporations that are, involved with running websites. Probably he hasn't named names yet, but I'm guessing Facebook and Google would be two.
Those are the big ones recently
on his list. But we're going to continue with that discussion. It's Ian, Richie, and Mark in the studio. If you want to join into to this topic or anything that's on your mind, our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. So let's pick this up where we left it off. We haven't gotten to the actual declaration yet. This is just kind of talking about the reasons why it's necessary.
So this is the list of the long train of abuses that they have suffered.
Sort of like the Declaration of Independence.
Exactly. Yeah. So they, whenever it says they, we're talking about the giant corporations. They have practiced in-house moderation in keeping with their executives' notions of what will maximize profit, rather than allowing moderation to be performed more democratically and by random members of the community.
I'm not sure if that's necessarily any better. I don't know. Do you want a random member of the community to all of a sudden be able to moderate content on your platform? I mean, what if it's somebody from 4chan? Then what happens?
Well, that's the best moderation ever then, because that's where the internet begins, my friend.
By the way, this reminds me of a story that my roommate told me today. Apparently, there's a gun company. I think it's it's like apparently like this really cheap gun manufacturer. I don't know if it's Hot Point or something like that, or if that's like a.
Oh, they put the naming out of their new.
Yeah, they put a poll out on the internet to name their new gun.
Yeah.
I don't know if you heard about this, but you know what happens when you put polls out on the internet to like name products, right?
Blammo McShooty face,
stuff
Something
like that. Yeah, yeah. Apparently, the winning vote, and they are going to do it. They're going to name a gun Yeet Cannon.
Yeet Cannon, yeah, okay.
Right, and they said you could just put like YC and then the number, and so everyone who knows what YC stands for is like in on the joke.
No, I heard it was going to be written out.
Oh, really?
That's
okay.
Matt's like a big gun guy.
What is a yeet?
I don't think we can talk about it on talk radio.
Really?
As I understand, as I understand the definition. Now, of course, there is the Urban Dictionary, which is always where you want to go when you hear some obscure or even non-obscure thing being thrown around. Okay, so there's different definitions.
I thought it was
here.
just an exclamation that millennials use.
Okay. See, I thought it had to do with ejaculation, but
that's skeet.
Oh, well, so clearly I got those two confused. Anyway,
you're younger than I am, so I was expecting you to sort of know what a yeet cannon was.
No, I don't know what most of these words are. I have to consult Urban Dictionary.
Can you read the definition for yeet on air, or is that like?
Yeah, I think you can.
Just read the first one, then. That's usually the best one.
So, definition 1 here is to discard an item at high velocity, which would make sense for a gun in that case. Definition 2, yeet is a versatile word that can be used as an exclamation verb or even a noun. As an exclamation, it can be used to express excitement, usually happily but also nervously. It can also be used as an exclamation of victory or as a battle cry or focus shout while throwing or hitting something.
That's my understanding. That's when I hear that word, that's the definition that comes to my mind.
Like while you're throwing something?
No, that's more just an exclamation.
I see.
Like, or,
like, yes.
Something like that.
Yeah, okay. So anyway, I just thought that was a funny aside of yet another internet vote that went pretty ridiculous.
Did it? Because that could make them real popular real quick. All right, the next abuse. They have banned, shadow banned, throttled, and demonetized both users and content based on political considerations exercising their enormous corporate power to influence elections globally.
I just heard on the news today that Twitter's got some new plot to, I guess, somehow I don't know.
They're going to put a warning label on Donald Trump's
They're going to
tweets.
put some kind of a warning label on Trump. They're also going to make it so some of his tweets just don't show up in places where they did before. So
Interesting.
That's what I heard.
There's probably going to be a public outcry for that because they worked so hard to get his tweets listed as official political discourse that they couldn't take it down because that was it had to be preserved as presidential speech.
Right. They're going to make it a little harder to see them, though, I guess. Now.
Okay. And I wonder if the fight's going to be with the same reason from the other side that now they can't take him down because
they're not going to take him down. And then they did make the statement that because they may be relevant, to leave them up.
But if you can't see it, and they're not, and people will be complaining that they're not showing it to me, they're censoring the president in my feed, type of thing.
Well, I mean, all he has to do is just announce that he's going to go to a different platform, and then that's the end of that.
The real Donald Trump on Mastodon?
There you go.
Someone do that quick before he takes it.
So what else do we need to know here?
They have adopted algorithms for user feeds that highlights the most controversial content, making civic discussion more emotional and irrational, and making it possible for foreign powers to exercise an unmerited influence on elections globally.
So I do agree that that's the case, is that, as a result, obviously they want more clicks, and clicks means controversy. We know it here on radio, and that's just that. So, yeah, they do that. You don't like it, get off their platform.
So
I guess. Yeah. I mean, it's the best thing I can say.
I mean, this is certainly not as life or death as the actual Declaration of Independence, where people were being, slaughtered and taxed and, forced against their will to do things. I mean, there's no doubt that it's hard to defend a lot of what these big companies have done, but Mark's solution, of course, is an easy one. I mean, not necessarily easy. It's simple to simply go somewhere else and use a different alternative, something open source, something free, something like you mentioned Mastodon, which is a great alternative to Twitter that essentially does everything that Twitter does, but it does it with open source, and it does it in a decentralized, federated manner.
About every fourth time I post on Facebook, I regret it.
Really?
Well, yeah. I mean, it's a relatively, negative experience.
You mean as far as like comments and that kind of thing?
Right. I mean, I could spend all day explaining to these idiots what their stupidity. I could. But why would I do that? Yeah. Here I've got you got 80 years on the planet, and I've burned up 48 of them at this point, trying to explain to idiots how they're wrong. I'm not going to spend the next 30 or so doing it again.
It's entertainment value. You could do that. You could watch a movie. You could play video games. Okay. Do you want me to continue with the list of abuses? Okay. They have required agreements to terms of services that are impossible for ordinary users to understand and which are objectionably vague in ways that permit them to legally defend their exploitative practices.
Well, let's be clear. That's been going on for long before, Facebook or Google. I mean, every corporation has had terms of service on its products, whether it be your cell phone company or, the whatever other service or product you might be getting. Terms of service have just become more obvious with the internet because they're all over the place. They're more common, that you would notice that they even exist in the first place.
And most people don't read them at all because
of course not. How could you?
You want to use the software, you just click through and then that's the end of it.
I mean, you don't have a whole day to sit there and try to parse through pages and pages of legalese.
Binding contract.
Yeah.
They have marketed.
But it's not. It's not a contract. I'd like to point that out. It's just terms of service.
Okay. They have marketed private data to advertisers in ways that no one would specifically assent to. They have failed to provide clear ways to opt out of such marketing schemes.
Yeah, I got an email. Like I was saying, I was going through like a month of backlogged emails today, and there's this exchange, like in one of these crypto exchanges called Yobit, and they're like one of the worst exchanges I've ever used. And their emails say, unsubscribe, click the link below, and there's nothing below it. There's nothing. You cannot unsubscribe from their list.
Is it in a different color font? Is it like white on white?
Just not. It's okay. Just. I mean, I didn't think to highlight to see if it was in a white color, but there's nothing there. I did mouse over it, and there was no link. beneath that area. We'll continue here with more of the grievances against these various different internet mega corporations.
The abuses suffered.
And what is the declaration going to say? That's coming up too. And would you sign it? We'll find all that out coming up here. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. You can join us here on the radio. This is the live Sunday edition of Free Talk Live.
Don't you hate that feeling in the pit of your stomach when the police pull you over? Most people have no idea how to handle it properly, and they promptly get fed into the municipal fee-generating meat grinder. Or maybe you recall that feeling you get when you go to the mailbox and see one or more letters from the IRS. You get a sense of impending doom, don't you? So let me ask you, if you could learn how to use the law to beat the IRS, traffic tickets, almost any courtroom scenario, collectors, credit card debt, and even mortgage debt because of fraud perpetrated against you, would that be worth knowing about? Don't laugh. Investigate. Check out the life-changing benefits of the Lighthouse Law Club at their website, lighthouselaw.club. That's lighthouselaw.club. And while you're at it, visit the Lighthouse Law Club YouTube channel. You might be in for a pleasant surprise.
Are you concerned that the values that made America great are no longer taught in schools? Well, I am, so I got my son the Tuttle Twins children's book series.
My name is Jack, and I'm 11, and I just finished the Tuttle Twins series. It taught me about liberty, free market economics, and entrepreneurship.
Give all the young people in your life a chance at reason and clear thought, because they're not going to get it at school. There are 9 books in the series, and each one teaches a set of ideas that children aren't getting elsewhere. Go to TuttleTwins.com and use coupon code FTL to get 40% off. That's TuttleTwins.com. I'm crazy about My Magic Mud. This is the most important oral care product created this millennium, and I'm not kidding. We all have different opinions on politics and issues, but we all have mouths. And I want yours to be as clean as possible, with teeth as bright as they were meant to be. I will never be without My Magic Mud. It's a little surprising, but man, does it work. If you only listen to one thing I say ever, go to mymagicmud.com and get 20% off with code FTL. mymagicmud.com, code FTL.
Don't worry about things you can't control. Isn't that what they always say? But it's about impossible to avoid worrying about what's going on these days. The government has used the war on guns, the war on drugs, and the war on terrorism to tear our Bill of Rights to shreds. But you can fight back. The 10th Amendment Center has proven it, racking up major victories. For example, when the U.S. government claimed authority in the NDAA to have the military kidnap and detain Americans without trial, the nullifiers got a law passed in California, declaring the state's refusal to ever participate in any such thing. Their latest project is offnow.org, nullifying the National Security Agency. They've already gotten model legislation introduced in California, Arizona, Oklahoma, Missouri, and Kansas, meant to limit the power of the NSA to spy on Americans in those states. We'd be fools to wait around for the U.S. Congress or courts to roll back Big Brother. Our best chance is nullification and interposition on the state level. Go to offnow.org, print out that model legislation, and get to work nullifying the NSA. The hero Edward Snowden has risked everything to give us this chance. Let's take it. offnow.org.
If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com to receive our usually weekly news updates by email. Plus, we have a Twitter account at twitter.freetalklive.com, and you can follow us on the decentralized Mastodon platform at toot.freetalklive.com. So please follow us at toot.freetalklive.com and sign up for our emails at news.freetalklive.com. Are you a cryptocurrency advocate? The Crypto Tip is the ideal outreach tool to help new people discover cryptocurrency. It's a printable business card-sized tip that you can give to service providers, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it'll bring up an explanation of cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and allow them to claim the tip. If they don't claim the crypto, you get your tip refunded to you after a time period you specify. Plus, if they do claim the tip, you get an email alert. Create as many tips as you want at cryptotip.org. That's cryptotip.org.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
It's Free Talk Live, and you can bring up what you want here. Just dial in toll-free. Take control of the airwaves. We're talking about a digital Declaration of Independence as written by a former Wikipedia founder. Now, maybe it was a group effort. I'm not sure who all was involved, but that's the guy who is writing this piece that you're sharing with us. And is this posted on Wikipedia, or where are you getting this from?
The original place that I got it from was Zero Hedge, and then linked through someplace else. But I just took the Zero Hedge article.
Gotcha. So we're going to continue with that, and also want to make sure you know about My Magic Mud. It's a black tooth powder made of charcoalized coconut shells and bentonite clay. And Mark, you swear by My Magic Mud.
I love it. I really think it's just the best stuff. I think that if anybody takes oral health seriously, that you've got to try this product. And I mean, then at that point you can determine it for yourself. If you bought one bottle of My Magic Mud, you've used it halfway through, and you're like, I don't think you'll come to that conclusion, but at the very least you've tried it.
Well, the conclusion you came to, and it says here it's clinically proven, is to whiten teeth.
Yep. The conclusion I came to is that I will not be without it. I have been using it for going on a decade at this point, and I have not had a time in my life other than like travel and forgetting, to bring a canister with me or whatever. I've not had a time in my life without it.
They've expanded quite a bit since we first knew them from their family, making this stuff in their garage or wherever it was inside their home, and bringing it to the Porcupine Freedom Festival. They're now available in most health food stores, Sprouts, CVS, Natural Grocers, and even Walmart's Natural Beauty aisle. You can save 20%, however, by just going to mymagicmud.com and using code FTL20. That's FTL like Free Talk Live, 20FTL20 at mymagicmud.com. They've got more than just their original My Magic Mud tooth powder. They've got toothpaste, they've got mouthwash, and other products that they've come out with in recent years as well. So check them out at mymagicmud.com. As we continue here, Richie, you were sharing with us the preface to the Declaration of Digital Independence.
Yep. I also say real quick, My Magic Mud is at my local Walmart. So while I was there, I picked up the toothpaste and used it this morning.
But don't do that because it doesn't give Free Talk Live any credit. So if you go to mymagicmud.com and
I picked up the toothpaste.
Yeah.
Right. Is the sale 20% off the paste
20%
or just
off
the powder?
the whole site.
Yeah, anything that you want there.
I thought it was just the powder, which I already have.
Yeah, I say
but still, that's super cool that it was there.
Get the product.
Yeah.
And, whatever. You send me an email, you get the product, I'll be happy to forward it off to the folks that that make these decisions.
Well, next time I know that.
Now you know.
But I just happened. I was.
You were there.
I was there. I was
is.
like, I'm there. I'm going to go check it out.
Yeah.
It wasn't hard to find. It was, the beauty aisle wasn't as big as I, expected it to be. But there it was, and I went. I've already got the powder. Let me try this toothpaste, and we'll see how it works.
Killer.
Yep.
What flavor toothpaste? I like the
peppermint.
Cinnamon. Okay. I haven't tried that one yet.
I'm a big on the clove.
Okay.
Yeah, it's very traditional. Even like Middle Ages serfs would use cloves if they could get them for oral care. It actually has a numbing effect too.
Really?
Interesting. Yeah. Well, when I run out of that tube, I will get another one and try a different flavor. Yeah.
Maybe you'll like it. Not everybody does.
I did like the one I tried this morning, so we'll see.
All right, more from the grievances.
The grievances, yes. The long train of abuses suffered. They have subjected users to such terms and surveillance even when users pay them for products and services. They have data mined user content and behavior in sophisticated and disturbing ways, learning sometimes more about their users than their users know about themselves. They have profited from this hidden but personal information. They have avoided using strong end-to-end encryption when users have had a right to expect total privacy in order to retain access to user data. They have amassed stunning quantities of user data while failing to follow sound information security practices such as encryption.
So many leaks, the Facebook leaks and various different companies being hacked and having all kinds of credit card information coming out. It's just been this long trail of just violating people's privacy.
And here's the worst part of that one. They have inadvertently or deliberately opened that data to both illegal attack and government surveillance.
Mm-hmm.
They have unfairly blocked accounts, posts, and means of funding on political or religious grounds, preferring the loyalty of some users over others.
When you're saying that they left people's security open, I mean, you could pay a company to give you security and they could still fail at doing it. It's not like, failure isn't written into anything that's done in life.
Sure.
Well, but what's the compensation for failure when you put your trust in someone to do something?
There's none.
Stop stop putting your trust in people that give you crap for free.
Okay, then. They have sometimes been too ready to cooperate.
When you continually, look, if something's going to change, something's got to change. And it isn't them, it's you or us or, whomever I'm.
But even if you're paying for the service, let's say you were paying LavaBit or something like that for a secure email service, and they botch it up and they release their, accidentally release the key to their cryptography, and then all of a sudden some hackers got all your emails. Then what is that worth? Is that worth the $10 a month that you paid them for a year? Do you get that refunded, or is that worth $1 million because you had the KFC recipe in your email box, and that got, how do you determine what the value of that loss is?
Information is very difficult to quantify.
Let's talk about the biggest one. Was it Experian? Their whole data that you didn't opt into, had no control over,
right?
And yet all of a sudden were potentially financially damaged big time because that's your entire credit rating, available to anyone who can access it.
Yeah, Experian, man. Any of those credit rating agencies.
Right, you didn't opt in or opt out.
You don't own that data.
Yeah,
you opted into it by doing business with companies all across your life, and those companies shared that information and or sold that information voluntarily.
You kind of know it when you do a credit app, though. I mean,
you should know it, but it's not crystal clear.
No, it's not crystal clear now.
And it's also not just credit apps. It's all kinds of data gets gobbled up by these, data companies that then resell that information.
Yeah, most people getting a job, right, subject to a background check. Where does that information go? Where does it come from?
Where does it come from?
E-Verify, right? That's going to
a phone.
Be a whole. Yeah.
Go ahead.
All right. They have sometimes been too ready to cooperate with the despotic governments that both control information and surveil their people. They have failed to provide adequate and desirable options.
Absolutely.
I'm just curious, and just on a timing question here, is the actual declaration longer than the list of grievances, or is it relatively short by comparison?
Short by comparison.
Okay,
I can skip to it if you like it. That's why I asked.
I'm still curious. I mean, I just want to make sure we get to the actual declaration before the end.
They have failed to provide users adequate tools for searching their own content, forcing users rather to employ interfaces insultingly inadequate for the purpose. They have exploited users and volunteers who freely contribute data to their sites by making such data available to others only via paid application program interfaces and privacy-violating terms of service, failing to make such freely contributed data free and open source, and disallowing users to anonymize their data and opt out easily. They have failed to provide adequate tools and sometimes any tools to export user data in a common data standard. They have created artificial silos for their own profit. They have failed to provide means to incorporate
the hell's an artificial silo for your own profit?
I'm not sure what that means.
I keep grains in silos. Matter of fact, I have very few silos.
Farmville. They're mad about Farmville.
I don't know.
I have no idea. We got more coming up here. How many more grievances on this?
2 more grievances, and then the principles that they want to establish.
All right. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. As we continue here, and I wonder if there's like a website where you can go and sign this thing. Does it give that later? We'll find out. Coming up here in moments. This is Free Talk Live.
Business owners, you want more customers? Accept cryptocurrencies. There's people all around you just waiting to spend money at your store. If only you would take it. I know, you've been waiting till someone else makes it easy. Well, good news. HelpMeTakeBitcoin.com adds Bitcoin to your point of sale. Totally free. Use the same equipment you already have, now with Bitcoin. And unlike credit cards, there's no fees. Let the guys at HelpMeTakeBitcoin.com bring new customers to your store. HelpMeTakeBitcoin.com.
Are you concerned that the values that made America great are no longer taught in schools? Well, I am, so I got my son the Tuttle Twins children's book series.
My name is Jack, and I'm 11, and I just finished the Tuttle Twins series. It taught me about liberty, free market economics, and entrepreneurship.
Give all the young people in your life a chance at reason and clear thought, because they're not going to get it at school. There are 9 books in the series, and each one teaches a set of ideas that children aren't getting elsewhere. Go to TuttleTwins.com and use coupon code FTL to get 40% off. That's TuttleTwins.com.
Don't you hate that feeling in the pit of your stomach when the police pull you over? Most people have no idea how to handle it properly, and they promptly get fed into the municipal fee-generating meat grinder. Or maybe you recall that feeling you get when you go to the mailbox and see one or more letters from the IRS. You get a sense of impending doom, don't you? So let me ask you, If you could learn how to use the law to beat the IRS, traffic tickets, almost any courtroom scenario, collectors, credit card debt, and even mortgage debt because of fraud perpetrated against you, would that be worth knowing about? Don't laugh. Investigate. Check out the life-changing benefits of the Lighthouse Law Club at their website, lighthouselaw.club. That's lighthouselawclub. And while you're at it, visit the Lighthouse Law Club YouTube channel. You might be in for a pleasant surprise.
Did you know you can legally exit the U.S. federal income tax system? Well, it's true, and thousands of American nationals are doing it. The 16th Amendment and the Internal Revenue Code are legal, but only in a limited jurisdiction. This is the basis behind the voluntary nature of the income tax. Learn the exit strategy provided by Congress. Find out more by visiting weissparis.com and watch our numerous videos. That's WEISSparis.com.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com. Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this, right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it, and once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world, so I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here, and I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, connect with others via the forum at ShireSociety.com. That's ShireSociety.com.
You can sign up to receive the latest about the Liberty Radio Network via our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. That's updates.lrn.fm.
It is Free Talk Live. You're invited here. If you want to join us, the toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. We do have the Discord on-air call-in line rooms over at discord.lrn.fm. If you want to comment on the Digital Declaration of Independence, which we haven't gotten to yet, we've been getting through the preface and then the grievances against these various corporate mega corporations that have a tremendous amount of influence in Internet matters. And some of these are legitimate concerns that we've gone through here. This is being shared through Zero Hedge, that website, but there is apparently also a site on which one could go and lend one's name to said declaration, which we're going to get to the rest of it coming up here in a moment. And I also want to let you know about our channel over on DLive at dlive.lrn.fm. Now that we're back from the Porcupine Freedom Festival and Fork Fest, because we took basically almost 2 weeks off of doing video streaming. So I think that that actually was somewhat damaging to our audience there. But we're still there. We've got video streams up during our live shows. You can go to dlive.lrn.fm. We were just given the verified partner status on DLive, so thank you to them for that, and we'll continue to broadcast on that platform, at least until we get banned, which is kind of what we're talking about here with these different organizations, these different corporations making arbitrary decisions and punishing users and putting all kinds of ridiculous restrictions on accounts and no privacy and being obedient to the government. And that's a short version of this list. But let's continue, Richie.
All right, so I'm going to read the last one over again because there was more, and then we got cut off with the silos.
Okay.
They have created artificial silos for their own profit. They have failed to provide means to incorporate similar content served from elsewhere as part of their interface. forcing users to stay within their networks and cutting them off from family, friends, and associates who use other networks. They have profited.
That's kind of their thing. Yeah. I mean, that's what Facebook does. Facebook wants to be your place to go on the internet. They're basically, at one point, I think they could claim to be half of the internet. I don't know what people are doing these days.
In a lot of places, they are the internet, right?
What's that?
Like, in a lot of places, Facebook is the internet.
Yeah.
Like that's where people
they're offering
go.
free connectivity to people in, rotten places around the world, and those people are availing themselves of that. You really can't blame anybody in this particular scenario.
Nope.
I mean, I pay, I don't know what, but somewhere around $100 a month in order to get the internet, and then I go to Facebook sometimes, and whereas these people are going to Facebook for free.
They have profited from the content and activity of users, often without sharing any of these profits with their users. They have treated users arrogantly as a fungible resource to be exploited and controlled, rather than being treated respectfully as free, independent, and diverse partners.
Yeah, I think that users have to act like free, diverse whatevers if they're going to have that happen. Because if you can offer a service, and that's what these companies do, and then people come and use that service, then why in the world should they, why in the world should people, should companies change the way they do things if people aren't demanding more?
Yeah, well,
not enough.
And
people.
They shouldn't. That was one of the conversations we had last week Sunday when I was here. Was Facebook being like the only game in town, and my point at that time was, well, they're not. Right? They just happen to be the most popular ones.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of competition coming up in many different providers for social network activity. And people just don't migrate, right? Why should I migrate away from Facebook when no one's there? Well, because you have to start, but then you spend the extra work posting in two places until everyone catches up with you.
I did find a definition of silo when it comes to the digital world.
Uh-huh.
According to Technopedia.com, a silo in the IT world is an isolated point in a system where data is kept and segregated from other parts of the architecture. IT professionals often talk about silos in a negative way because the free flow of data is so important in most enterprise systems. So if that gives you a little bit of an insight into what they were talking about. Walling off data into, a silo.
All right, so that's the end of the grievances.
All right.
We have begged and pleaded, complained, and resorted to the law. The executives,
and it failed.
The executives of the corporations must be familiar with these common complaints, but they acknowledge them publicly only rarely and grudgingly.
Mm-hmm.
The ill treatment continues, showing that most of such executives are not fit stewards of the public trust.
So it sounds like this may be going in a positive direction where people are, I'm going to guess here, again, I have not read this, where, okay, begging hasn't worked, shaming these companies hasn't worked. Here's an idea, create the alternative. Go to the alternative that you have created. And if it doesn't exist yet, then, go ahead and start making it. I think that may be where they're going to go with this.
I don't know if they have the alternative listed, but they definitely
it may not exist yet.
Right, but they have the principles in which those alternatives should be.
It needs to be decentralized in a way that can't be controlled by one person or a group of people or whatever. And that's not what people are talking about on the internet. And what I see by and large is people don't, most people on Facebook just don't care about these kind of things. However, I see nothing wrong with creating a declaration of digital independence and saying this is what you should want, ladies and gentlemen.
We're seeing more people caring these days, I think. We're seeing more people opting out, more people who've been on Facebook for years. I was on a decade before I finally, started
Well, you fully opted out, but there's a lot of people who just don't do on Facebook what they used to do.
Yeah, a lot of people are cutting back. Rich Paul's a good example of that. He's got a no Facebook icon on his profile and
which he posts a lot to.
Yeah, he hasn't quit. He's just advocating people leave. Anyway, go ahead.
All right. The most reliable guarantee of our privacy, security, and free speech is not in the form of any enterprise, organization, or government, but instead the free agreement among free individuals to use common standards and protocols. The vast power wielded by social networks of the early 21st century, putting our digital rights in serious jeopardy, demonstrates that we must engineer new but old-fashioned, decentralized networks that make such clearly dangerous concentrations of power impossible. Therefore, we declare our support for the following principles.
So is this the principles or the declaration?
This is declaring their support for these principles.
The Declaration comes after the principles?
Well, sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just trying to understand the structure here.
We free individuals should be able to publish our data freely without having to answer to any corporation. We declare that we legally own our own data. We possess both legal and moral rights to control our data. Number 3, posts that appear on social networks should be able to be served, like email and blogs, from many independent services that we individually control rather than from databases that corporations exclusively control or from any central repository. Just as no one has the right to eavesdrop on private conversations in homes without extraordinarily good reasons, so also the privacy rights of users must be preserved against criminal, corporate, and governmental monitoring. Therefore, for private content, the protocols must support strong end-to-end encryption and other good privacy practices.
So I would say that, yes, you have the right to privacy when you believe you have the right to privacy, but, I mean... So I'm trying to compare this in my mind to sort of the telephone company. When you're on a telephone call, you're thinking to yourself, well, it's just me and this other person talking. But ultimately, I guess the telephone company could listen in.
Absolutely. They can tap your line.
Well, they used to run the switch, right?
They still do.
So when you're typing out online a direct message on Facebook or something, they use that information to serve you an ad in the next session. I don't... for one, they're trying to serve you better, but if the government's using
serve you advertisements better.
Well, look, man, how do products make your life better?
There's nothing inherently wrong with advertising and serving people advertising.
I'll go one further. Advertising, if done well, is an asset to your life.
Sure, that's fine. But that's not what he's talking about. He's talking about getting away from these centralized services and moving towards decentralized services.
Right. I think that, many of these people...
Ground up rather than top down.
Yeah, I think that many of these people complain about corporations more than they should. And
well, I suspect Wikipedia
less.
is a corporation as well, but we'll continue here in moments. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. So far, I like a lot of what I've heard here, and hopefully coming from this big source like this, somebody influential, he's probably going to get some people to sign on to this, and maybe we'll see some new developments, new software being developed that comes out of this sort of push.
Based on these principles.
Which would be nice. And there's more of them coming up here in moments. 855-450-FREE like freedom. It's Free Talk Live.
Fellow Patriots, my name is Todd Savage, founder of BlackRifleRealEstate.com. Like you, I was a prisoner of the alt-left sanctuary state until one day I chose to lead my family to freedom. Today we live on a sustainable 20-acre homestead where we shoot, hunt, garden, and homeschool our children without the tyranny of the nanny state looking over us. If you're ready to flee the city to the freedom of Idaho or Montana, our Black Rifle Real Estate team is here to help. Go to BlackRifleRealEstate.com. That's BlackRifleRealEstate.com.
Jake was in big trouble with the IRS. He owed how much?
$92,000.
Ouch. The IRS left no room for Jake to breathe.
They put a lien on my house, took all the money out of my bank account, took money out of my paychecks. So it was a nightmare.
He needed help fast.
I figured that all these companies were the same until I called Federal Tax Management. You could just tell they knew what they were talking about. Right then and there, I felt like I had some hope.
Stop the liens, levies, and garnishments fast and qualify for one of several special IRS programs that could reduce or even eliminate your tax debt. So, how'd it go for Jake?
They did what they said they would do. They came through for me. I ended up saving an unbelievable amount. I was so jazzed. I was extremely happy.
If you owe more than $10,000 in back taxes, take Jake's advice.
Give Federal Tax Management a phone call. If they help me, they can help anybody.
Call the Federal Tax Management Hotline now. 800-503-8625. 800-503-8625. 800-503-8625.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Sling bow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of sling bow. A new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market.
Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people like passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. It's physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project early movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com. LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
Are you tired of your taxes funding endless occupations around the world? Antiwar.com is run by people who understand that wars abroad become wars at home, wars on our freedoms. Antiwar.com is dedicated to bringing you the latest in news, views, interviews, and reviews from the top movers and shakers in the anti-occupation movement. Antiwar.com has it all, from thorough foreign policy analysis to interviews with whistleblowers who used to run the military-industrial complex. Anti-war, pro-free market. That's antiwar.com.
What's up next? Visit the Liberty Radio Network program guide to find out at shows.lrn.fm. That's shows.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. Moments remain here. If you want to join us, you may. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. Live Sunday edition of the show. We're talking about the Digital Declaration of Independence, and with you in the studio tonight, it's Ian,
Richie Rich,
and Mark.
Now, Richie, are we going to be able to get through this declaration?
I will read as fast as I can.
Okay. Let's continue with this from one of the founders of Wikipedia. They're not happy with a lot of the privacy violations of these mega corporations on the internet, among other things. We went through the list of grievances earlier in the hour. If you're just tuning in, then you can grab the full show archive later tonight over at freetalklive.com to hear the rest of it.
All right. This is the list of principles. We're on number 5. As in the case with the Internet Domain System, list of available user feeds should be restricted by technical standards and protocols only, never according to user identity or content. Number 6, social media applications.
Does that mean you can't be banned because of who you are? You know, like Alex Jones kind of thing?
Could be, yeah. Okay. It's only the technical standards. Social media applications should make available data input by the user at the user's sole discretion to be distributed by all other publishers according to common global standards and protocols, just as are email and blogs, with no publisher being privileged by the network above another. Applications with idiosyncratic standards violate the user's digital rights. Number 7, accordingly, social media applications should aggregate posts from multiple independent data sources as determined by the user and in an order determined by the user's preferences. Number 8, no corporation or small group of corporations should control the standards and protocols or of decentralized networks, nor should there be a single brand, owner, proprietary software, or internet location associated with them, as that would constitute centralization.
Does this make anybody else's eyes glaze over? I mean,
it's a little techie, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what.
I heard
I don't even know what I'm
decentralization
supposed to be outraged over at this point.
This is not the outrage part. This is the principles of which this
Let's
new
jump
system.
to the actual declaration. It's getting a little bit into the weeds, I think.
Well, there's only one more. You want the last one?
Yeah.
Users should expect to be able to participate in the new networks and enjoy the rights above enumerated without special technical skills. They should have very easy-to-use control over privacy, both fine and coarse-grained, with the most private message encrypted automatically and using tools for controlling feeds and search results that are easy for non-technical people.
I do agree with that. I think that people who are not technical should have the ability to send encrypted, messages without having to learn this look, PHP takes some time. You've got to, it's not an easy thing. Simple, but it's not an easy thing to necessarily do for the average person. It's pretty much out of their grasp. So tools that can decentralize, tools that can add encryption and do it in a relatively transparent manner. I think these are good ideas.
So we hold that to embrace...
This is it. This is the actual declaration. Okay.
We hold that to embrace these principles is to return to the sounder and better practices of the earlier Internet, in which we were, after all, the foundation for the brilliant rise of the Internet. Anyone who opposes these principles opposes the Internet itself. Thus, we pledge to code, design, and participate in newer and better networks that follow these principles and to eschew the older, controlling, and soon-to-be outmoded networks. We, therefore, the undersigned people of the Internet, do solemnly publish and declare that we will do all we can to create decentralized social networks that as many of us as possible should distribute, discuss, and sign their names to this document, that we endorse the preceding statement on principles of decentralization, that we will judge the social media companies by these principles, that we will demonstrate our solidarity to the cause by abandoning abusive networks if necessary, and that we, both users and developers, will advance the cause of a more decentralized Internet, and then the link to sign the petition.
Bravo! I got to say, I think that sounds really good. Would you sign it?
Yeah, sure.
I would sign that.
As a content provider, yeah,
I would sign that.
I can't sign it. I have no way to help these people do whatever it is they want to do.
It said users.
Yeah, I'm a user.
The user would help by joining a decentralized platform. So
I've signed up for Mastodon. Haven't figured out how to use it yet.
You must not have tried that hard. I
tried a little bit.
You type in a thing and you press send.
I wanted to see what other people sent.
Anytime someone comes at me with a new social media, I create an account and then I see where it goes. And usually within a couple weeks, no one's publishing it.
Yeah.
And I migrate back to Facebook because that's where everyone stays.
Yeah.
But if we're committing to this and we're all going to move away, then yeah, I'll dual publish for until more people migrate over to that one.
Mm-hmm.
Back in the day, I had a MySpace page and a Facebook account at the same time, and then I did everything on both until Facebook started to creep on ahead and everyone stopped using MySpace, and that was it. So I'm not locked in to anything, right? I don't have to be controlled by anyone. I just want to be where the audience is and my friends are, and if they move with me, then let's all move together.
That's the thing, is getting everybody
people
to
move together.
Yeah.
You've got to have people who are willing to take the step first and kind of show people, hey, it's okay. The water's fine over here. Look, I'm here. Here's posts.
Yeah.
You can come over here. It's fine. But like you said, if it's a lonely experience, eventually you're going to give up on it. If people aren't coming over, then that's a problem.
I've got a Minds account. I've got I had a Gab account for a little bit. MeWe.
Now these are all other centralized platforms, so you really haven't solved the problem by using another centralized platform.
I'm on FSP Hub.
What's that?
I don't know. It's decentralized in some form because I'm linked up to the Free Talk Alive account. Whoever manages that. On whatever
FSP Hub, is that the Free State Project?
It's decentralized.
We want to thank whatever listeners running the Free Talk Live Hub on the FSP.
Wait, FSP Hub or Free Talk Live Hub?
Whatever.
It's FSP Hub. I think .org, but it's decentralized. So
is it like a social media thing?
It's
Oh, okay.
But Free Talk Live is on one of the other nodes that might not be FSP Hub. I don't know which
we can't
one.
be connected, with the FSPs.
For whatever reason, but it's there, right? And one of the first posts is like, we don't use this platform very often. If you want to link with us, go to our website.
Go to these other places. Yeah.
Yep, there's something there at fsp.org.
FSP.org is their normal website. Right?
FSPHub.org.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So, you want me there, I'll be there, but you got to, we all have to contribute to keep us all there. Is
right on.
Really the bottom line.
Well, I am off Facebook now for more than a year, and it has been a positive experience. I did leave up a post on Facebook for several months informing people of where they could find other posts.
Letting everybody know I'm not on Facebook.
Yeah, it's important to let people know if you're going to be going away from a platform where there's a large potential audience, even though Facebook does neuter your posts and doesn't actually end up showing them to the people that have said they wanted to follow said pages or posts or whatever. So I think this is a good plan. Does it mention what the website is, or should one just go and search for digital, what was it, Declaration of Independence?
Declaration of Independence. I could have followed the link, but I printed it up differently so I could read it.
Yeah, let's see here. I'm not seeing anything that's particularly jumping out at me
Let me
here.
see then.
Declure.org is the top result for that. That's not exactly an easy to read one here. March from Wired. Anyway, let's go to David. He's on the line in New Mexico. You're on Free Talk Live. Hello there.
Yeah, modifying what I was going to say to fit into the format you've created. I think there is a simpler way to discuss what you've been discussing in a more detailed fashion, and that is that I have a right, okay? I have a right to talk to Ian, so in 2,000 years ago, we're standing face to face, we're talking, we got a right to do that. If you come along and invent technology that gets widely adopted, that makes it so that nobody stands face to face anymore and talks to each other, they pick up the telephone and dial, I still have my same basic right to talk to Ian. If he wants to talk to me, we have a right to talk face to face like that. And if you come along and bring in this technology, then we have a right to use it. Doesn't mean you have to provide it for free, but you can't you can't interfere with my basic right to say whatever I want to Ian as long as he's willing to hear it, because you happen to have been super successful with the newest round of technology. And if you want to do analogies, transfer the whole line of thinking to transportation, for instance. In the old days, everybody walked because they didn't have a horse, they didn't have a bicycle, et cetera, et cetera. Then somebody came along and was wildly successful with internal combustion engines in the wheel. And so nobody walks 20 miles to get whatever, to do whatever. They get in the car and drive. We still have the same basic right to transport ourselves to wherever we need to get to without you having an undue burden on us in order to do so. In other words, just because you invented the car doesn't mean that we now have to have your permission to drive down the roadway. Sure. The roadway belongs,
Once the idea is out there, and well, this is one of the reasons why libertarians I think real libertarians are against intellectual property, because once an idea is released to the world, then anybody else should be able to pick up that idea and run with it and add to it and make newer, better things off of it, and everyone benefits from that.
What if you invented the DMV and all of a sudden handed out permission slips to drive 20 miles in that vehicle? Right? Who's to stop you then?
Wait, inventing the DMV?
Well, because you got to go down to the DMV and get your license if you want to drive along that 20 miles to get to where you want to go without being potentially harassed and molested by the police.
Yeah,
right?
Whoever invented that crap shouldn't be forgotten in history, and I suspect they already have. We're going to put the link up to this declaration. It's on change.org. We'll put that on our social media over at twitter.freetalklive.com, the decentralized Mastodon platform over at toot.freetalklive.com, also telegram.freetalklive.com. It'll appear there in just moments. We'll see you tomorrow night online. In the meantime, freetalklive.com, and more coming up tomorrow.
Does this ever happen to you? Moments after you're introduced to someone, you forget his or her name. It's a common faux pas you'll want to avoid, especially if you're a job seeker. And even if you're not, here's a tip. As you are being introduced, and while you're still shaking hands, smiling, and making eye contact, say the person's name aloud. Not only does that make a deposit in your memory bank, it acknowledges the other person. And that is more than a nuance, as is maintaining eye contact. With money and attention so scarce now, effective communication skills have never been more important. Cutting through the clutter rather than blending into the blah, blah, blah will help you connect better no matter what the conversation. For more tips, hit survivalspeech.com. I'm Holland Cook.
Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. local.bitcoin.com. The LRN.FM social media channels have been revamped. We've eliminated Facebook and focused on other platforms like Twitter and Mastodon, the decentralized alternative to Twitter. On our accounts, you'll find posts from multiple LRN.FM show hosts together in one place. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm, or better yet, move to the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm. I think you'll like it.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. Online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow with your latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Gold is trading at $1,409. Silver at $15.24, and Bitcoin is trading around $10,812. Today's prices are brought to you by InnoScale. Take off with Managed Cloud. Looking for a safe, secure way to store your important files online? Let InnoScale handle it for you. Their high-availability cloud servers are the perfect solution for clients needing one or more secure, scalable servers with built-in hardware failover protection. For details, see them online at innoscale.net. In the news, in a decision that voting rights advocates warned would open the floodgates for even more extreme and undemocratic redistricting than what is already in place throughout the nation, the Supreme Court effectively condoned partisan gerrymandering on Thursday by ruling that the practice is beyond its constitutional reach. The Mind Unleashed reports the ruling was 5-4 along party lines, with conservative Chief Justice John Roberts writing the majority opinion. Slate legal journalist Mark Joseph Stern tweeted Thursday that the High Court's ruling is the, quote, nightmare scenario for voting rights advocates, end quote. Frida Levinson, legal director at ACLU of Ohio, said the Supreme Court's ruling will allow the practice of gerrymandering to continue, to flourish, and to evade review by the judicial system, and leaves redistricting in the hands of those who will continue to abuse their awesome power whenever they can to defeat the will of the voters. In a scathing dissent, liberal Justice Alina Kagan accused the High Court's 5 conservative judges of abdicating their constitutional duties, quote, just when the courts across the country, including those below, have coalesced around manageable judicial standards to resolve partisan gerrymandering claims, end quote. The Liberty Beat is sponsored in part by Brave Botanicals, high-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven, and believes so strongly in the power of kratom, they're giving it away for free. Just go to freeounceofkratom.com for a free ounce of kratom delivered to your door. Just pay shipping. That's freeounceofkratom.com. This is the latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Find us online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. Your news now continues. Twitter, on Thursday, announced it would suppress President Trump's tweets going into the 2020 election by downranking those which violate their rules via algorithms. Offensive material from the President of the United States will also receive a label that applies to all verified political candidates and government officials with over 100,000 followers. According to the Washington Post, before users can view the language in newly flagged tweets, they will need to click on a screen that says the Twitter rules about abusive behavior apply to this tweet. However, Twitter has determined that it may be in the public's interest for the tweet to remain available. The Mind Unleashed reports Twitter will deprioritize the labeled tweets so they would be seen by fewer people, which adds that the policy will go into effect immediately and will not apply to other influencers and leaders. It's also not retroactive. A Brazilian Air Force pilot who was one of the crew members on their way to serve as the advance guard for Brazil President Bolsonaro during the forthcoming G20 summit in Osaka, was arrested during a stopover in Seville en route to Japan, after Spanish customs officers discovered enough cocaine on him to fuel a small Wall Street bank's party for a month, in what has become an international embarrassment for Bolsonaro, who is known as Brazil's Trump and also the country's self-professed law and order president. The Mind Unleashed reports the 38-year-old airman appeared in court Wednesday on charges of drug trafficking after Spanish officials discovered 37 packets of cocaine weighing a total of 39 kilos in baggage. Officers from Spain's Guardia Civil took the crew member into custody, and a police spokesman in Seville said the whole bag was filled with drugs. Support for the Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? You can. Just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details. This is the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm. The LRN.FM social media channels have been revamped. We've eliminated Facebook and focused on other platforms like Twitter and Mastodon, the decentralized alternative to Twitter. On our accounts, you'll find posts from multiple LRN.FM show hosts together in one place. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.com.